Let's see if we can do this once again. Let's make sure the Facebook page is Facebooking before we get started. Um, there we go. Outlaw Radio live on a Monday night, live from the basement. I misspelled it and I have to edit it because I had two M's. I was in a hurry, excuse me. So it's live from the basement. My name is Kevin Barnes. I'm the host of Outlaw Radio. Tell a friend and tell a friend. I know we started the show, we had to reboot. There was an issue with the feed. So it seems like we got that straightened out. So here we is. Here we is. I'm not alone. I see Relzy Calhoun tonight. You are one of your alter egos. What's popping with you, homie? How you doing?
Man, Monday is Monday like a motherfucker, man. But I'm just glad to be here this evening. How you doing, man?
I mean, I have to echo that, man. It's always good to, just be here. You say I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah.
But there's a lot going on. Mondays are just kind of like this day because most people dread it because it doesn't matter how hot that weekend gets. Monday morning's coming. It's like, damn, I got to go to work in the morning. And so people feel that way. And then, some of us just happy to have a job, right? Like, when you ain't
Man.
got no job, you be like, I wish I was at work. So, but yeah, Monday is Monday. And especially in a city like Milwaukee, because what often happens is after the weekend's over, then we have to turn and reflect on the things that happened this weekend in our city in particular. Y'all know we're going to get into that. Share the show, share the show, share the show. Shout out to you if you rock with Outlaw Radio. If you want to get with one of Rail's books, if you want to, get some of Kamar's, wellness juices and herbs, any of that kind of thing, man, just hit us up, man. Everybody on here does big things. Shout out to the juice lady, wherever she's at. But yeah, a lot going on, man. And we're supposed to have Sean Moore. Supposed to have Sean Moore coming in to give us an update on this gas station shooting in which a brother was shot in the back of the head by another brother whose story is a trip, actually. Like, it's crazy. But so much negligence on the part of the owner of the store to even have this individual sitting in his business armed. It's ridiculous. And everybody involved need to lose they whatever they got. Let me see. Ewalk said Walk is here. I see you, my brother. How you doing? How you doing?
Peace.
I'll hit us up, get in this chat room, get on these lines. Let's get it cracking. It's Outlaw Radio. Ruben Anderson said, "What's good, bro? How you doing, my brother? I see he was in Arizona, I think. Dion said he was knocked out. You off today, huh, Dion? You off? Okay. So yeah, man. And like, what part of it? Where do you start at, right? And because I think so it wasn't the last show, but prior to this, we had this euphoric feeling because we watched our people in Alabama get together and lay the smack down, right? And everybody was just saying it would be crazy if we could like manifest that and have it become the spirit of our people, something that's ingrained in us to ride. And not even saying that it's not, but I mean overall. And so since then, shit has gone to hell in a handbasket, right? People have continued to kill, steal, murder, rob, do whatever. So it's crazy. And I don't know where to start at because I want to talk about the poverty. Some other people talk about, well, we don't have love for ourselves. Other people say there's no unity, there's no solidarity. Other people say there's no leadership downtown. I'm here to tell people I believe it's like a really perfectly balanced gumbo that consists of all those things. So if anybody like out there thinks, okay, well, I got the answer, I know how to fix the city and whatever popping spiel, glockenspiel you want to spit, I'm here to tell you it's a multi-layered problem and there will be no singular savior. There has to be group politics. There has to be a majority amongst this minority. There has to be, some sort of solidarity that can align itself together just long enough to have some impact. 30 people up to now. I'm hearing. I seen Mama Jenkins put that stat up. I know the article that I had placed in the People's News Network said 27 people shot, 4 people dead over the weekend. Starting on Friday night, it just didn't stop. And and this is one of the reasons why people say, yeah, I want to hear y'all talk all that Milwaukee, love Milwaukee shit now. Say all that shit now. Yeah, you want to move now, don't you? And I could say that, but I think that'd be a knee-jerk reaction because I think no matter where I move, some incident like this will occur, especially if it's an urban area. But where should we start at when it comes to talking about the violence in our city, Rail? Where should we start at? Your your silence says everything. Yo,
Like shit,
he he literally looked at the camera and said, "And I mean this."
man, you know me, man, because like you hear about the shootings and stuff like that, and you definitely don't want people to get shot. But then at the same time, I don't know the circumstances. Sometimes there's a reason to shoot people. Like, I mean, that probably sounds fucked up, but
It does. It does. It sounds
I
very
mean,
fucked up.
it's like we could be like, okay, all the shooting need to stop, but hell, the robbing needs to stop, the finessing needs to stop. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, we never know what, and I guess some people will say certain shit shouldn't result in that person getting killed.
Right.
But you can never tell a motherfucker how to react to your infraction. So I mean,
but let's be honest. Let's be honest.
yeah,
A lot of this is not over anything.
I don't know what is over, man.
I hear
Street
what you're
shit.
saying. I hear what you're saying, right? Okay, case in point. You have, and this was last week, a 18-year-old, 10:30 in the morning, runs up on two dudes with a gun to rob them.
Yeah.
Broad open daylight, and the result is a shootout in which he's killed.
Okay.
Okay.
So he was the robber and got killed?
Yes, but his victim was also armed. So this is 10:30 in the day. This ain't your average rolling up, like I get I hear what you're saying, like, because the streets eat, right?
Did any of the innocent people get killed?
One of the other victim, the other would-be victim was shot, but he didn't pass away.
So the only person that died was the person who started the fuckery. Well,
who was allegedly the robber. That's what they labeled him as.
I mean, yeah, and like I said, it's fucked up for anybody to get shot, and you don't want to hear that. But in scenarios like that, what can you say? Except occupational hazard or something like that.
Occupational hazard. That's a very interesting take on that. And I mean, it makes a lot of sense, of course. Occupational hazard, indeed.
And not to sound, because my heart still goes out to the family, whoever has to deal with the loss.
I don't want you to come off callous and people say,
right. And that's my thing. I don't want people to think that I'm heartless, but I mean, if more circumstances ended with the actual wrongdoer becoming, a victim of karma, I think less wrongdoing would take place.
Well, the situations in the neighborhoods indicate that possibly, and I didn't hear this anywhere, I didn't see this anywhere, but this is just an observation that I have. Maybe something had been done to that young man.
Well, yeah,
then individuals involved, and he said, "When I see him, it's on site, and that's your result." And I'm not saying that's what happened.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, you don't want to hear about anybody getting shot. Right. Well, but what I'll be saying is,
I said that because it's so easy to say,
right?
The robber got killed, so that's good. Well, no, we don't, because we don't know.
It's not always black and white. That's what I'm saying. Like that's why it's fucked up to hear people get shot, but there's always a backstory. And
unless, well, then the story could possibly be this dude was just a stick-up kid. That happens as well. But these situations are recreated over and over and over and over. And our community has a very high concentration of it. I'm not stupid enough to say, black on black crime and all this.
Right.
It's crime. But I do think that there's a strategic nature to placing all of the poorest people within a couple square miles, right? I like in an area that then after they're there and that population is concentrated in this area, you underserve the area, right? It's not even tended to. It's not.
Right.
There's no economic investment in it. There's no redeveloping it. It just exists until it gets too bad. So
Well, that's always the goal, to let it get bad so that it can be flipped at a cheaper. Right. Like you remember that you remember that Boondock episode where Granddad opened up the restaurant? and start serving the Luther.
Yeah,
And then,
absolutely.
and at the end of the episode, you see that Onceler is developing the park across the street.
Right.
So the whole reason for him giving Robert that restaurant was to get people addicted, raise crime, bring property
Right.
value down,
And we're
and
gonna come in and buy it.
then they shut down the restaurant, but he ain't give a fuck because Onceler Development was right across the street. This
Right.
shit happens in real life every day.
And I don't think a lot of people even understand. How you doing, my sister Alexandra Brewer?
Peace, peace.
She said, "Hey family, how you doing, sis?" Ewalk is in the chat. He said it starts with cultural unity. Absolutely has to begin there. Well, what is that? Because I don't know that we've ever had that cultural unity. And you say, well, why would I say that? Because even if you look all the way back to when we were whatever they want to call it now, when we lived on these places called plantations, right? And there was these people who were called master. I don't know if if white people still want to refer to that as slavery. I'm not up on their latest dodge, right? Even then, there were people amongst us who were not true to us.
Mm-hmm.
They always sided. I mean, they weren't happy with who they were, or for whatever reason, or they felt this inferiority. So it's like, I'm gonna ride on the side of massa because black don't have no value. There was always some of us who were at each other. You know, you go to juke joint on a Saturday night, so and so bring a razor and cut. People say, well, nobody was getting killed. Well, you don't know that. A lot of people
Folks
did
getting
lose.
killed with that razor.
A lot of people lost their lives behind a razor blade during those
Right.
times,
You
right?
seen the rage in Harlem?
So I said, I said all that to say, when have we ever had cultural unity amongst us? Uh, when have we had that? Somebody, if you out there listening and you got a line on that, tell me, when have we had that? Because what if you can point that time out, I'd like to go back and examine what our people were on during that time that enabled them to do that. You feel me? Witch doctor in the building, better late
Peace,
than never.
peace.
However, it's clever. What's
Peace.
popping with you, bro?
Ain't nothing, man. Ain't nothing. Somebody just got jacked up outside my house, a car accident.
Mm-mm.
But not right outside my house, at the corner.
Yeah. You live on
Out
the
there
busy
looking
one
at
too.
that, man, and time got away from me.
It's got away from him. Old people say they got away from it.
Time got away from me.
Yeah, man. Boy, it's all good. Welcome to the show. We were late because we had an issue with the feed. So share the show, y'all. Share the show. I don't know if people know I see the people. I see
Oh,
a
y'all
lot
was
of our
late too?
family already in the chat room. Yeah, it was a problem with Facebook and StreamYard. So it wasn't acting right. But it's all good now. I can see my face on the screen. But we were talking about the violence, 30 people shot, 4 or 5 people dead over the weekend. And we were talking about, because we know, Kamar, because I don't know if anybody else really talk about this stuff to the levels that we do, but we've approached the poverty, we've approached the failure of the leadership, we've approached the lack of love for self and the lack of unity. And Ernest proposed, he said, well, cultural unity is the cure, is where it should start. Not the cure, but where it should start. And I said, when have we ever had that? When have we as a people been super united and mobilized and polarized for what? Because even during the civil rights movement, there were some conservative Negroes who said, stop making all that damn noise. We got it good. Oh, rebel rousers. I'm not like them. So when have we had that? I just want to know, what time period did we have?
Kev, it ain't gonna ever be 100% everybody on board. It'll never be that. You know what I mean? You got the Uncle Ruckus niggas, you got African Americans, you got Negroes, you know what I'm saying? You got slaves. Everybody will never be on board. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that has ever happened, and it probably would never happen.
And it happens in key places is what bothers me. It happens in the areas that matter the most, like when it comes to education or when it comes to career paths. a lot of the black people who are what we call gatekeepers for these places ain't, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. A lot of us would rather be around them than us.
Right.
You feel me?
And that's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? African Americans.
Right. But so that's what I'm saying. So when does it? Okay, Ernest is saying, well, now's a good time to start. He's saying now's a good damn time to start having it unity. But that's such a blanket statement, though, Ewok.
Yeah, because everybody idea of unity is different. Most people idea of unity is y'all do what I want us to do.
I mean, yeah.
I
You're gonna
mean,
be all good as long as you do what I say, right?
Yeah.
right. I mean, but even with unity, you have to have a purpose or common goal to unify for. And a lot of us can't make up our mind on what the fuck we want. You know what I'm saying? So like, even back in the day, I can't think of a time just as a people, as humans, as a race has been unified. We tend to unify against a common threat. But once those threats are over, then you go back to bickering in
Right.
between each other. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody, right. Everybody was on fire about taking pictures with folding chairs and oh, it's cool. And yeah, man, that was the spirit and our
Right.
ancestors. And now just a couple weeks later, we back to, because the majority of the victims of these shootings were people of color. Let's be honest, ain't just for what it is, right? And I got to go coon. I got to be the coon on the show tonight. And I never thought I'd say this to my own people. There's so much outrage when somebody else kills us. And I know that there's a lot of people who do visuals and do, vigils and all kinds of things.
I was going to say, man, hold on.
There's nowhere as near much uproar when we slaughter each other. Like, as pissed off as we are about this gas station, and deservedly so, they deserve our anger and our wrath. We should also be mad about the number of young people in our community that have been shot and killed as well. And if we are, and if you're out there, call in 262-202-5131. Call in. Let us know. If you say I'm outraged about it too. Go ahead, Kamar.
I'm glad you said that though, Kev. You know what I mean? Because see, we talk about unity, and unity under what? Like, okay, we got common unities, right? The common unity, police brutality, police taking us out. Right. Sure, we can all unite on that one. You know what I mean? Or the majority of us can unite on that front.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's how I feel like we have to unite. We got to pick something to unite with. You know what I mean? To unite on. Pick a front to unite on. And fight that one first.
Okay.
Because it's too many. It's too many lanes in this revolution.
It's a lot.
You know what I mean? So we got to pick common unities with people who have the same common unity. You know what I mean? Common reasons to unite as we do. You see, or as I do, I should say. Like, say y'all too. You know what I mean? We all three of us got a common issue. You know what I mean? And one of the issues is black people killing black people. So we can unite under that umbrella, just that umbrella, and let's focus on that and see how many people can we get to unite under this umbrella. Fuck health, fuck mental wealth, fuck all that other shit right now. But I just feel like we got to find one thing because it's just too much shit to look at.
The only issue with that is I see it's like plugging fingers in a leaky dam because you and then it's do. You know, next thing you know, you got all your fingers and all your toes stuck in the dam, and another leak springs.
Well, see, that's what I say. Like we find the people who have this common interest as we do. You know what I mean? Now it's gonna wind up being many different united fronts in different facets of the revolution now. You know what I mean? If we find in the people that's got the same interests as we do, you know
I just heard you use a very interesting word. What revolution? We did a show one time and I said, what revolution?
The revolution that we're uniting for.
What?
That's the revolution.
This revolution been being planned for 100 years. When is it gonna happen?
Unity is a revolution.
Okay. Damn sure a revolution of thought.
So I say
Mama
that's why I
Jenkins,
say like unite under what umbrella? You know what I'm saying? And we have to
Mama
find
Jenkins says,
like-minded people that's gonna fight that battle with us.
she said, "Good evening, my
No
outlaw
doubt.
family. Speak truth, KB. 27 shootings, 4 dead. This shit is screwed the fuck up." Uh, Shout out to Mama Jenkins. Ewok, my collard greens was delicious, by the way. Catfish and collard greens yesterday, thanks to my wife. Dope. Trying to tell you, smoked turkey necks and the whole nine. Deliciously grown by myself. Ewok says you don't always have to agree with your people to be unified. People can disagree but still remain unified against all bullshit. Y'all talking about do I like Frank Nitty or Vaughn type shit? Hell no. I'm not talking about nothing like that. I wouldn't even, those two names wouldn't even popped up unless you said them, Ernest. Like I don't because the thing is we're all when I see both of them, I know that both of them were supposed to be for the people. That's all I know. Both of them were out here doing stuff that was supposed to be for the betterment of the people. All the other petty stuff is just comedy to me. I feel like they say I filter through all of that. It's like, okay, at the end of the day, it's about, the people. But and that's a problem with that's a problem with what Kamar said, get on one thing, because we can't all be on the same thing. Some like violence, I think it's something we should just, you know, jump, right? We should jump towards it. We just jump towards it. And but if you say, well, we're gonna start with food, everybody work on being a vegetarian. That shit'll come apart quick. Um, um, Mama Jenkins said, Sean Moore came and had dinner. My greens were fire. Man, I bet you they was, Mama Jenkins. She said Vaughn is actively out here working daily all the time. That's what I'm saying. I feel like it's all about doing better for the people. Like I don't choose like, oh, I'm gonna choose a brand. you feel what I'm saying, real? Like it's like, nah,
Mm-hmm.
both of them be out here. They both do shit I don't do. I'm not leading shit. You feel me?
Shit.
So I'm just like, hey man, more power to you. I don't care who you are. If you are, that's why I said call. That's why I said call in. If you are out there and you out here doing and you fighting the tide, saying, man, Kev, this is what we're doing. I'm welcoming that. I would love to hear it. That's what I'm saying. You won't catch me criticizing nobody unless they break a law or a jaw, punch the girl, or steal the pearls. Right? That's when you say, oh, you hear me say, oh, I don't fuck with dude. But if brothers just out here just doing what they do, trying to stay in their lanes, which they call them in corporate America, they call them swim lanes. You know, stay in our swim lanes. You don't want to get up in my department's business. That's how they kind of put it. I feel like it's room for everybody. Anybody who wants to get out. Hell, to me, Kamar's an activist because he's at the forefront of the health and wellness thing with the holistic stuff. And I'm like, hey, dude's an activist too. So,
Yeah, we are activists in our own right. We just got to figure out what we feel comfortable about being active in.
right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I'm an activist. I'm just a nigga with a big mouth.
You are.
And
You're
sometimes
an
that
activist.
helps.
You're an activist. You know what I mean? You enlighten the community. You inform the community of what's going on.
I do my
That's
best.
an activist. You being active out here.
I do my best. I got too much going on. Hold on. Okay. Ewok the Great on the line. What's popping, man?
Hey, what's up, man?
What's happening?
Peace.
Hey, before people jump off the ship, I was using those two names as an example.
Right.
I wasn't throwing no name out there, trying to put nobody name out there to get no bullshit started. I don't know neither one of them cats, but I was just using them as an example.
Fucking disclaimer. A disclaimer in this bitch. Like, listen, man.
Right, no doubt, because shit can get off the rails and shit. Somebody say, "Oh, some nigga on the show mentioned your name."
Right.
Not like that. That wasn't even the purpose of that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
I was using that as an example.
It's all good.
But other than that, though, I want to see because I saw a clip earlier on Facebook about the what's that, Tatonia Roosevelt, where that gas station is.
Right. That's what. Yeah.
Did they charge that cat or what, man?
He has been officially charged, but now see, I got Sean Moore who just popped in, and I'm gonna let him. I wanted him to come in and talk about this because he's been on the front lines. Him and the brother,
no doubt.
Sedan, and a whole bunch of other people. So Let me holler at
Okay, I'm
Sean.
finna go ahead and peep that. I'm gonna peep that. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Oh, so let me hold on, Sean. He said I'm just using that name as an example. Boy, you better watch your goddamn mouth.
I ain't
uh,
gotta watch shit, nigga. I ain't scared of that one of them motherfuckers, but I don't want nobody to jump on the joke about what I said
don't
and
poke
shit
the
about them,
bear.
you know.
I just watched Cocaine
I'm sick
Bear.
of that.
Don't poke the
I got
bear.
a sharp stick. I got a sharp stick now, goddamn it.
All
Yeah,
right.
I said this shit,
That
so I'm gonna
motherfucker
let
got
it
to
be
be.
known. Look,
It had to be awful long to reach from Arizona, right? Let
man,
me
on these
catch my
motherfucking
chat
3 hour
room.
flight.
Let me catch my chat room. Crystal Ship says, I think we have to start somewhere. We have to master being unified on something first. But what though? That's the question. It's $1 million question. She said music unifies of us. If we use music to unify on other things, we would be winning. Well,
Hey,
not the music that's coming out now.
hey,
Um, Mama Jenkins said, I like what they do, but where's the solution? That this shit is still shitty. Yes, there's a lot of work, but they lack funding to continue to work. Okay. Sean Mo, like I said, for Kamar, better late than never. You are here, and so we can get an update on
hey,
what's
you know
going
what
on.
though? I feel like people are unifying on different fronts already. We see it. You know what I'm saying? It's just that the people that ain't unifying need to pick something to unify in.
Sound like cultural gangbanging.
But you dig what I'm saying though? Because like
Vegans,
we see people out here being activists about a lot of different things. You know what I mean? Police brutality, poverty, all type of stuff. You know what I mean? But
LGBTQ rights.
the problem is, it's a lot of people that's saying we need to be united, but they ain't uniting
Well,
in nothing.
they're united with each other.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Um,
The
Sean,
unity is there, just the people ain't.
Sean, what's going on over there? Y'all been out there. Y'all shut the gas station down. This dude's been charged. Put us up on it. Lace us up.
Peace and blessings, family. Professor, doctor,
Peace.
whisperer. Yeah, he's been charged, and we retained Kim Motley as the attorney. We're gonna push forward. We organized to start a coalition because we want to build off of this and monitor these gas stations and these stores in our communities, since we know that a lot of these stores are a direct path to uh death death or prison.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, what else you want to know? I mean,
I mean, no, what this is the
oh,
thing that,
my
that
bad.
struck me the most is
You know,
that
it's a lot
when
going
they
on. I'm
investigated the dude who shot him, they found out that he has
mhm.
been he's already a convicted killer who was
Yeah,
convicted for
yeah.
robbing a store. So how the hell does he get
Mhm.
hired as a security guard for a
Well, see,
store?
that's the thing though, man. It's so the person who hired him is a federal felon, and he was working in a gas station, and the owner just told him, hey, start a company and go around and find people to work in these businesses. So he was going from store to store, and he hires transients, right? He hires homeless people, he hires people with mental health, because he doesn't have he's not a security guard. He doesn't have to follow any guidelines or anything. He working for this dude who don't care about him or nobody else. So yeah, he wasn't supposed to be in the store doing that job. Um, he shouldn't have been around people, dude. This dude is really dangerous, man.
Right.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? And supposedly he shot somebody a few weeks ago that nobody knew about. So he yeah, man, he had choked a little sister out 2 weeks before that. Blood started coming out of her ears, they said. Her
Yeah,
brothers
her
came
daddy
over,
need to meet that nigga.
her brothers came over there and beat the brakes off of him. Then he
Okay.
started carrying a pistol. And when my nephew was walking up, I know everything now. When he was walking up, the little employee told him, DD, get him, get him. My nephew came in, grabbed a box, turned around, took 4 steps, and he shot him on the left side in the back of the head. It came out his right temple, killing him instantly.
Right.
Right. My nephew didn't even know he was coming behind him, because he would have seen him with the gun. He would have ran. He didn't know this was about to happen. And then the employee of the store, who should be charged as well, when the police came, he didn't say, "Oh, he shot him." He didn't say anything. The dude stood around. Not only did he stand around, they're just telling that part. He was so callous that after he shot him, he went to his little girlfriend's house down the street, told her, "I just shot dude." She told, "You can't be in here." And that's when he went back to the store, fired up a cigarette, told the police he's an employee, and they didn't question him, didn't do nothing. They continue working on my nephew, and the employee behind the counter, he never said nothing. That's why I believe he should be held as being complicit to this murder, because he was the one that told him to get him. And then when the police came, you didn't say anything. And you knew he had just murdered my nephew. But when they called the police, and I want to speak about this, man, because I'm writing something up about it's protective prosecution, right? When it comes to these establishments, if you call the police on them, they go to them and ask them what's going on and run with whatever they're told. If you speak out about it, if you file grievances about it, you're eventually harassed by those officers in that neighborhood. I'm hearing more and more of this this type of prosecution, right?
Sean, let me
Yes,
ask you a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Was the individual who was behind the counter, who told him to get him, is he the owner of the store?
No, he is not. The
Okay.
the owner of the store is, hold on, because I got his name, is who did I send it to this morning? The name is,
I'm assuming it's Arabic.
yeah, it's very Arabic. Very, very, very Arabic.
It
Where
ain't
is that?
Jackson, right?
No, it is very Arabic, bro. And when I say
Okay.
it's
But so who actually hired who hired him?
Gurinder, I'm about to tell, it's Gurinder, Gurinder, Nagra, Nagra, and he stays in Franklin.
Okay.
And he has about 10 gas stations. If I'm not mistaken, he has the gas station on Hampton and Titonia, Roosevelt and Titonia, and Locust and Titonia.
Oh, you got it sold up.
What do all those gas stations have in common, though?
They're all hot spots.
All hot spots.
Yeah.
So now we can show that he is directly, right, involved in the desecration of our community.
But I want to know who hired the security guard, because this is like the dumbest. This is like what not to do, right? Like if you own a business 101.
The security,
who hired this security guard? Yeah.
So the guy's name, I believe, is Chris. He's a little bald head guy. Just got out of prison a year or so ago, still on federal paper. He was hired to work in a few gas stations, and the owner,
who hired him?
Nagra, Zurinder,
Nagra, the owner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Zurinder,
The reason I'm asking is because I'm trying to create a connection between the owner,
yes,
because I think whoever hired this security guard, if you'd have done a simple background check, you would have seen he had a homicide on his record already.
So the young dude that I spoke to, he said, and we were filming. When I asked him about the background search, he said that he did perform a background search. And I let him finish the lie. I listen, he had a complete lie. I let him finish the lie, and then we exposed that, bro, you could not have done a background search because he just got out of jail um, in March of this year after serving 32 years for homicide. Are you sure? Yeah, I had to stop my
Yeah.
little sister because she was about to fire on him. I'm like, no, we not going. That's not going. We gonna really win this, right? And we ain't gotta choke them out. We ain't gotta knock them off. We ain't gotta whack their ass. We gonna win this because we're gonna shut down every store that we can show has these adverse activities, and it's coming from Mister. What I said? Oh, Nagra.
Mr. Negra, right? Sound like
Yeah,
the Gunda
yeah.
niggers. Sound like that's what his name is. Let me
So
catch the chat room. Dion says that nigga was a savage. Mama Jenkins says dangerous motherfuckers with a gun and this fucking system got a lot to do with this shit.
yes,
Paris Peace Outlaws from the Mile High Income City, Frontline Black News, and Shabaka's Black Experienced Enhanced. How you doing, my brother? Welcome to the show. Mama Jenkins says, and they got video of this, and that's what I seen the
yes,
brother Sedan saying they want the
yes.
access to
Hey
the
man, listen,
video and
listen.
whatnot.
Let me say something right quick before I forget. Right, that brother Sedan, man, Minister Khalif and they people. Uh, I just want I want to say openly and publicly how much we appreciate them. Right.
Okay,
I didn't call Sedan down there. Somebody showed him the live I was doing, and he's like, man, I'm going down there. And they've been with this family every day. Um, and we're gonna continue to build on this. So there's a press conference tomorrow at 5 o'clock in front of that gas station, and we want everybody there, especially if you've been disrespected, assaulted, or if you've lost a family member in or around one of these establishments that's owned by somebody that does not stay in our community. We want you there. We need your voice. We're gonna um build a coalition of these families, man, because nobody's listening to these families. And I believe that the most powerful voice is the voice of a parent who has lost their child. And they should be given an opportunity, man, to be involved with what's going on in this city. This city owes them more than they've been given.
okay.
So
I
yeah,
do not disagree. And there's we just had this discussion, and I said what I feel like needs to be said. And I want to second your because I've seen the brother Sedan down there, and he was look real passionate about it. Like he was like it's something that
yeah,
set him off. And I know he's had to deal with losing his brother through a crazy crazy situation involving Milwaukee police. And so I don't know. I heard him saying to the police officer, like, man, yeah, y'all killed my brother. Like, I heard him say that,
yeah.
like,
Yes,
so I
yes, he
know that
did.
this is a
Yeah.
passionate thing for him. But I said this, we're upset with this gas station. We're upset with this owner. We want him closed, but we ain't making noise about the 27 other people who was shot.
But see, I don't I don't want to say we're making noise about this gas station. We're making noise about the callousness of the people that own these
Own the gas
establishments
station. Get
in
it.
our community, right? And how they're protected, right? How the citizens that visit these places spend their money there, right? They don't get the same protection. They don't get the same empathy. They don't receive that. And when we start placing businesses before the lives of the citizens that visit these businesses, that's a problem, KB.
No, I get all of that. I get all of that. And I'm not in no shape, form, or fashion am I trying to diminish the tragedy and the injustice involved with this
Yes, sir.
situation. And I wholeheartedly
Yeah,
understand that this is a shining example of what is happening when we have these people who don't come from our community, who don't look like us, who don't share any kind of best interests with us. this is what happens when we let them do business in our community long term. They become careless. They look how this gas station is run. Like, you won't see a place like this in some of the surrounding areas or neighborhoods, because the neighborhood will say we don't want that here. But for some reason, in a lot of centralized locations, these places are allowed to flourish, even not just exist, but
Yes.
flourish. So that's a direct.
Yeah.
I understand that, but I'm saying, yeah, we can make all the noise and with this Arab who's bringing death and destruction into our neighborhood.
Mhm.
But I want to know what we're gonna say to
Right.
each other about the 27. Like, it's a whole lot of shit jumping off all over the place. And I, just to play devil's advocate, once again, I'm on the family side. I'm gonna ride with my people regardless. But just to look at this from a different perspective, a lot of these gas stations
Yes, sir.
are in places where the customers are of a certain ilk. That's what's in the community. You own a business. If you own a local business, you deal with
Mhm.
the people that live in the neighborhood. And you can just go stand in there
Yes.
and watch the type of people that come in and frequent these places. And so the clientele is what really makes it. And a person can say, well, what am I supposed to do? I got cameras, I got security guards. Not in this case, because this is cold-blooded murder. But I'm just saying, I've seen kids come in gas stations, snatch 2-3 boxes of candy bars and straight run out. I've seen them come in mobs. And once again, not making an excuse for this dude. Not at all. But I'm saying, what about the other stuff? Now, I got a caller. Is this Dion?
Yes, sir.
What's going on, Dion?
What's that?
I want to chime in on some of the topics that we were talking about. You know, I send my condolences out to Sean, your family, bro. I'm sorry
Yes,
that y'all
sir,
had
brother.
to go through
Appreciate it.
that. But, you know, I definitely could understand the frame of mind, you know, with these foreigners that come over here and they run their gas stations. Because, man, we got to admit, man, our reputation is have ruined it. I know, Kev, you always get tired of hearing about the white man, this white man, that. But yeah, you know, people come over here don't know nothing about us, and they think we lazy. You lazy, get out. You thief. You like what? You know, you don't even know. You can't even speak English to even say something good to me. If you gonna call me lazy and a thief or whatever, disrespect me, at least be able to speak proficient English to convey the message that you're trying for me to receive. But man, you know, that violence situation, man. Like I was listening to Real early, man, and you know, I do understand where it be far and few in between where it be innocent people that become victims. And I had to think of that one brother you was talking about him. I think you had him on the show one time. Well, he had lived here, but he had came back to Milwaukee, and somebody had carjacked him and ended up shooting him in the face, and then the person that shot him ended up getting shot and paralyzed.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, man, some of those incidents, those be people that have personal beef with each other. I mean, so what we gonna do, you know what I'm saying, have an armed security guard, an armed police with every single citizen in the city of Milwaukee? And if something happens, like if me and you get into a personal situation, and you know it's firearms there, and you know we angry at each other at the time, and we not thinking about the consequences of our actions, and we get to jump, and you know one of us get killed, or we kill somebody innocent. You know what I'm saying? So I was listening to Terrell on that though, because a lot of times, and that's across the nation. Yes, it is. It does be innocent people like you and I who could be in a crossfire, people shooting at each other and get killed. That happens, but it's not a high percentage. You know what I'm saying? I feel sorry for people that do be victims of crimes that they had nothing to do with. But a lot of times it be niggas being got into it with each other. They see each other, and now it's on and cracking. You know what I'm saying? So I really look at it like, what if you got, like I said, we always talk about, if you got a shooting on 35th and Juno, then not even 20 minutes later you got a shooting on 35th and Wright. Then not even 10 minutes later, you got another shoot on 45th and Capitol. Then you got another shoot, say, out there on 89th and Mill Road. The police, how can the police get to all that? You know, it's like personal vendettas people have against each other. They see each other, boom. They start an argument, boom. You know what I'm saying? So to be like, so what can you say the violence of office prevention could do? What they could do? Well, we get every citizen in Milwaukee. We just gonna put a police on y'all block or a mediator in your household.
Well,
or
I think,
don't. You know what I'm saying?
Dion, I think there's number one. There's expectations. If you take a role of leadership, your job is to find answers and solutions. Not and so you can't say, well, we're the police, but it's crime everywhere. What are we supposed to do? Because I would look at you and say, what the fuck is you asking me for? You are the professional. You're supposed to figure it out. Now, there's a way, and I talked about the strategic kind of way the neighborhoods are set up in which you take all of these objectively poor people, just seriously just, living off 15, 16, the median income for black families, that means a family in Milwaukee is $29,500. For white people, it's $60,000. So we're talking about, how hard it is to live with a family of 4 or more, 2 kids, 2 parents, off $29,000 a year. That's meager. You take all these people and put them in the same area and then smack that gas station right in the middle of it and say, hey, y'all, this is for y'all to get y'all cigarettes and y'all tobacco, and you get your kids candy. We get milk. You take WIC. We buy gas for your car. We got a little car wash over there. Yeah, these people, they flock to it. But there's a way to even strategically police those areas. So I don't want to hear, not from you, but from law enforcement, say, well, what are we supposed to do? Because then I say that lets me know you shouldn't have your job, right? Because there has to be a way to establish some order. That's just my kind of opinion on that. Who's that? Sean? Who's trying to jump in? I thought Sean, you had your hand up.
But even with
I was
just like
hold on, Dion. Let me see. Let me hear what Sean was trying to put in some while I don't want us to talk over each other. Go ahead, Sean.
So I wanted to respond to Dion. It goes back to the change in the operating procedures of the police. When they stopped foot patrolling, right? It took away from those communities. You had officers that would walk through these hot areas, right? If you want to start to address some of these hot areas, that's what we were doing as ambassadors, but we weren't policing. We were doing it to build relationships. If you get police back in these communities, though, and they start policing and building relationships with these communities, which they're not going to do because they don't stay in these communities, which has to do with the residency. It all goes into the pot to make the stew.
That's that gumbo I was telling you about.
It's the operating procedures of the police, and when you get leadership, right, that continues to support these type of entities. Like the alderman stated, she wants to introduce a bill that requires them to hire security guards. Okay,
which alderman was
some
this?
Of these places have armed security, and
which alderman?
Alderwoman Pratt.
Okay.
Alderwoman Pratt. You're not even dealing with the wound. You're just trying to patch it up, right? No, what needs to happen is when a life is lost, when citizens complain about being disrespected and beaten on, right? They need to come before the council, and their licenses need to be taken, and they need to be removed permanently from our community. When you continue to acquiesce to their demands, then you're turning away from the people that voted from you. And I'm warning her now, do not introduce that bill. If she introduces that bill, she has a battle on her hand for the rest of her life.
Now, so her bill proposes that they put the bill proposes that they put. Sean, I don't know if we got a delay.
That the guards have to be trained.
So she wants a security guard in every gas station, and they have to be trained. That's what you said the bill is, right? I think he's on delay. Sean, you real delayed.
Yes.
You're behind us.
Yes.
Dion, you was trying to put something in. I don't know why this bill is bad. I want you to explain to me.
I'm going back out.
Okay. Because I want to make sure we communicate clearly. Dion, you was trying to put in something about economics. What was that? I must have lost Dion too, because I know he's out on the road driving, big trucker.
Me?
Oh, okay. Yeah, you was trying to put in something about economics. What was you saying?
Oh yeah. So I just, man, listen, man. like I hear this all the time, and not all the time, but just I be on social media, Twitter and all that. So even if we took guns out of the community, it would have been, instead of 29 shootings, it would have been 29 stabbings or 29 stoning people to death. You know what I'm saying? Like, violence is just human nature, man. And the only reason that is the reason people look at it, because the access to weapons are so easily accessible. But even if you did whatever even if the people put the most stringent rules on obtaining a firearm, shit, people will be making bombs, blowing motherfuckers. Because if you gonna kill somebody, you gonna get their ass. I don't care what you do. If you be like, I'm gonna run this motherfucker over when I see him. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna run all their ass off. I catch them sitting out there and boom. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just be, even if economically we were, one dependent on certain things, like everybody in the hood got money. We got, I make 100,000, you make 200,000, somebody make. Yeah, but the ones, now we making hundreds of thousands, but the ones that making 70 or 80,000, they like, I can't stand them niggas over there. They making 100, 200,000. We about to go get their ass. You know what I'm saying? Because then and then we making 100, 200,000. We be like, I can't stand them motherfuckers right there. They making millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like what can, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just constantly, and I don't blame the guys, the police, the people for saying like, what the fuck you want me to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, there is no scientific algebraic explanation where we could solve crime across the nation. Even in the city of Milwaukee, Washington, D.C., goddamn Hollywood,
But
Africa.
hold on. And I don't think anybody's saying stop crime. That's impossible. What I am saying is that there has to be a strategy to curb some of the violence. We don't expect it to be like this utopian society. But there are expectations that citizens can feel safe in their community. So when we say, well, that's just how things are, we can't really ride with that. We have to say, no, that's not how things should be. We got to figure out how to change that. And like I say, I get the streets. I get that when you get into certain situations with the streets, it is what it is. But that's why we should produce communities where those street situations don't rule the day. That's what I'm saying about putting all these poor people together. That's what you get. But if it's not strategic on how you lump people together and give them all Barada property apartments and all this kind of stuff, you put 30 of the poorest people that you can find in one complex, it's bound to be dysfunction. I expect more from the leaders. Kamar, you have something you want to add to this?
Oh yeah, just to add to what you was, I agree with what you were saying. You know what I mean? I want to add to that. You know what I mean? Because see, we was taught to be violent. We was taught to act out on our anger and shit like that. You know what I mean? That's not our nature. Our true nature is peace. You know what I mean? Your soul come from a realm that's undisturbed. You know what I'm saying? We are peace. We are spiritual beings. We got to understand that. You know what I'm saying? So that's not our nature. You know what I mean? To shoot shit up and act a fool. That's why I agree with Kevin. You know what I mean? It's a whole bunch of shit that brought us to that.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Kamar, I hear what Dion's saying. I
hear him too. I get it. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't saying he wrong either, because see, he's speaking of what is right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I understand that too. You know what I'm saying?
And I also don't want to give elected officials a way out, like an escape route to say, well, it wasn't shit I could do. Well, you shouldn't have been elected if that's how you felt, because that's not what you say during your campaign. When you try to get votes, you don't come out and say, look, I'm gonna do what I can, but y'all know how this shit is.
Instead of saying that, they need to be asking, what can I do?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What
can I
do?
Hey, that's just like,
give me some answers.
If we had a community, that's just like if we had a community where it was serial rapers, and then they went and castrated all the men and cut their nuts off. You know what I'm saying? They'll still find ways, where if I can't get no erection, and I eat her up real good, or you know what I'm saying? It's just like I just don't know though. You know what I'm saying? I
have no clue. I don't get your reference. You know some trucker shit talking about eating pussy, like hey, cut my penis off.
It's like we always gonna be in a battle.
Right. So, but then that means you shouldn't give up. You should be ready to fight. I mean, you got to be fight or flight, right? Like every day is a struggle. So I don't get out of the bed saying I'm fucking defeated. I'm like, let me get out here and fight the good fight every day. If you black, that's what it is. You have
So
to fight the good
I'm
fight.
gonna be honest with you, bro. When I wake up every day, I don't think I got more important shit on my mind than violence. You know what I'm saying? Like that be the furthest thing from my mind. You know, like I don't even know who being got killed and what go on unless I hear it on Facebook. My mama tell me because I don't even watch the news no more. I stopped watching news after COVID. You know what I'm saying? They're like a lot of times, a lot of stuff that happens in the inner city, and my girl or other people be like, man, I can't say I distanced myself from it, but I don't live that life no more. You know what I'm saying? To even know what go on, and sometimes to be honest with you, even actually care. You know what I'm saying? Like I go to sleep at night, I'm not thinking about who. I might hear a few gunshots in the hood. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, like I'm like, I be looking at it like shit.
The problem with that is what we always say is that if you see something and you ignore it and you choose not to do anything about it, it's going to slowly creep its way up to your front door. I got two
I agree.
youngsters. So I have to be aware of what's going on in the community. And even myself to make sure, you move safely. You have to be aware of what's a hot spot and what's. So I do pay attention to it. I think one of the things we've done as Black people over the years is said, oh, well, fuck it. And that shows in our community. Ain't shit I could do about it. Fuck it. Everybody else doing it. I'm gonna do the shit too. Fuck it. Somebody got to get that money. Fuck it. Right. That's been our whole thing. And so now let me get the chat room because I'm so far behind, and I see Shabaka trying to get in, but I was trying to bring Sean back. But let me catch my chat room.
yeah, I'm back.
All right, I'm about to hang up and listen, man.
No,
hey,
hold on.
I
want to answer your question, Dion, or KB.
Go ahead.
Or KB question that I know he responded on, right? Regarding what could she do, but go ahead, KB. I'll wait, bro.
No. Oh, you said you wanted to ask him a question. Go ahead and ask him his question.
No, I want to answer your question.
Oh,
okay. Or Dion's questions regarding the hiring of the security guards. Why that's a bad thing right now.
Okay. Yeah, that was my question. I don't even Dion. I don't care about that shit, Kev. I don't even care.
Hey, Kev, don't be callous like that. I'm about to hop over here, man. I'm about to finish listening, man. Hey, I wanted to come, man. I ain't gonna lie. I wanted to come down there and fuck with you this weekend, bull. But I ain't gonna even say anything I was supposed to do because ain't nobody. I don't know who be listening on this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But I be putting everybody up on it. Motherfucker, go back and say something. But anyway, yeah, I was gonna come down. I wanted to hang out. You know what I'm saying? Maybe give me a couple shots, talk a little shit.
Yeah.
We'll catch up another time, man. But peace to all the outlaws, peace to the outlaws out there in the world. Love you real, love you, Ken, Sean. You be smooth.
Sir.
Love all you niggas, man. Y'all niggas just be smooth. Try to keep that shit out your household. Stay away from that shit. Man, we getting too much money out here, man. For real, fuck all this bullshit, man. Only thing we do is just keep getting money and try to get rich and get away from this shit, man. I'm gone.
All right, Dion.
Peace, bro. Love.
Okay, so you wanted to answer my question, Sean?
Yeah.
I was saying Dion because Dion was like, "Fuck them kids." Go ahead, Sean.
We have a perfect example with the hotspot. They have armed security.
Carla, you got to turn your device down. Getting us an echo.
They have armed security, but their interest is the store and the owner, right? They can hire any security, right? There's no stipulations on who they can hire. Hold
on, Sean. You're still getting an echo. Can y'all hear that echo? If you call in, you gotta have it. You can't listen to it in the background. I had a caller. I think it's Shabaka. Somebody got a call. You got to turn it down. Go ahead, Sean. I want to make sure people are clear on what your answer to my question is.
They have security forces as well. I don't think just putting that law in effect is enough, because who's gonna hold them accountable? We see right now that they don't care about the rules. They break the rules every day. So having an armed security in there, that's not gonna stop them from doing what they do.
Well, this is why I would think this would be the best thing going, because trained official security, not no Booty Lee Farnsworth like they hired this
Right?
dude, because whoever hired this dude need to do half his time with him, because
Are they going
this is ridiculous. But
KB?
I'm saying to say, hey, well, y'all know what? It's mandatory for your gas station now to have official security.
Mhm.
I'm not talking about your cousin them. I'm not talking somebody said we hiring everybody out the house of correction. I'm talking about real live security, because there's some real security firms out there
What are
that are
they
professional.
securing, KB?
The
They're
area to
securing
prevent
what?
loitering, to prevent people from driving up doing late night drug
That's not what
transactions.
they do, though.
What do they
They're
do?
not. That's not part of that law, right? The security guard, they're gonna secure that premises. That doesn't mean that drug deals aren't gonna go on 10 feet away from the premises. That's not gonna
Okay, so
change
if you're
because
hiring,
let me say something. That's because that nature has set in now. They're accustomed to that way of life. That store needs to be closed down so that we can know, man, they are set in that behavior and activities, man.
Hey, can
This
I
has
say
become a way of
something?
life.
Go
Can I
ahead,
say
Kamar.
something, y'all?
Go ahead, Kamar.
Hey, I think all stores that got all this activity and shit need to get closed down.
For real.
We talked about this before. Back in the day, it was on the owners. The owners of the stores used to clear motherfuckers out away from their store.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Okay. Now,
Yep.
if you got security, well, then the owner should be having the security clear people out from around the store and keep that mess off their premises. You know what I mean? Before it even get to a point to where, you know what I mean, to where an owner could be like, hey, get him. And you know what I'm saying?
But
it's the
hold
security in there.
Wait. Because I'm not, if I'm hearing Sean correctly, it doesn't make sense. If I got an official security service that the city is mandating, then that would mean there would have to be some communication with the police. So if I'm a security guard and I'm observing this in the parking lot and I don't report it and I let this happen, then I should be fired, because your job is to say, hey, this is during 1 and 3.
Let's not be naive, though, KB.
Hold on now. Let's hear me out. It's his job to say between 1 and 3 is when the traffic is highest for the drugs, right? Or the prostitution. And I'm here and I'm there. I'm on duty every night. Okay, well, you just let us know when this is happening. Boom. Patrolling police officer. Okay, this traffic is starting up. Okay, we're gonna come park on the parking lot just for 3-4 hours. You can't tell me that won't curb some of the crime. That won't curb some of the occurrences in the parking lot. Unless you just a brave ass criminal like, fuck Milwaukee police. Here, come get these pills. In which case you need to go to jail. Right? I don't believe security would just sit there.
I feel like it's the store job to keep that shit straight.
So see, this is what I'm talking about. The protective part of that protective prosecution. We continue to acquiesce to what they want, right? They want to keep their business. Why can't we take their business, tell them to get out of this community, and that property be co-opt to the community? If it's co-opt to the community, if we return it back to the community and give it back to people in the community, that's a community store now.
I don't believe the community.
Vested.
I don't believe they could run that store.
Excuse me?
I don't believe they could run it.
Before they had it, Gilman was black, and we didn't have these type of problems.
How long ago was that?
25, 30 years ago.
Whole different time.
Hey, y'all.
KB, we're talking about solutions. If we know what works, why not return to it?
I got a solution.
Come on with it.
Since we know that the city ain't gonna shut the places down, you know what I mean? It's up to us to figure out how we gonna stop spending our money there to make them shut the fuck down. You know what I mean? If they ain't making no money, they gotta close up.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna.
And in the meanwhile, we create plans on how we can acquire these stores and gas stations and shit.
You know why the city don't cut them down, Kamar?
I mean, the competent ones of us, how we can acquire these spaces. You know what I'm saying?
You know why the city don't shut them down?
Man, I ain't even worried about it.
Check this out, though.
This is what we got to do. That's what I'm saying.
No, we need to speak on it because there's a barrier in place that many people don't have the time or resources to get around. When I went down there today, after the alderwoman told us to file for an emergency revocation, they gave me a stack of paperwork over almost an inch thick. She said, read through this and have a lawyer file a complaint for you. Now we're talking about people in these neighborhoods. Many don't have those type of resources or times to get a lawyer to help them file a complaint so that they can go before a licensing committee to speak about their lives being in jeopardy. They get frustrated with the process before it even starts.
Right. I ain't got no
We gotta
goddamn
fuck.
law.
That's why I feel
Also,
like
why they can't run it if it goes
That's
co-op.
why I feel like the better solution is to quit frequenting these spaces.
So that means we have to provide. We have to provide spaces for them to frequent. Then, though,
right? Exactly.
And the only way to do that is to retrieve the property that was once ours.
Right.
I want to make sure that I say this enough times. My opinions tonight do not reflect my opinions toward this particular situation.
Yeah.
But I believe what I'm not hearing people say, once again, is the accountability on the community. See, it doesn't matter what you put in the community. If the community around whatever you build is all fucked up, that's what you're going to deal with every day. That's your in and out. You smack dab in the middle of 53206 as a business owner, you dealing with people from 53206. Not people going to say, hey, I think I'll leave the suburbs and go down and get my gas on Locust. No, you dealing with what Locust has. The communities, us, it's us. We keep saying, well, what's the problem? And even in this case, here's a brother who kills another brother, right? For an error.
Because this other motherfucker said do
it. So it's us. We gotta. I don't hear anybody talking about fixing the way we behave and the things we do in our community.
No, we had this conversation when I spoke about how they have challenged our social norms, and not only challenged them, but they changed them, right? The community, you have community members that have become frustrated with the process of trying to challenge what's going on. When you have leadership that doesn't honor what they came to your door and tricked you into believing.
You voted for them.
I know, listen, KB, I understand that, right?
Look,
but a lot of these people...
There's a community right around the corner where the community members went and said, we want the hotspot to stay open. This is the same community.
But look at the process, right? And going through this personally, I was just helping families before, but going down there, trying to retrieve paperwork, trying to get this store shut down the legal way and do all that, bro, it's such a frustrating process for people.
Already,
right? And a lot of people, we're talking about people that's already frustrated, man, and beyond frustrated, right? They on the brink of giving up, or have given up, become complacent, and just, you know what, I'm comfortable with being complacent because shit, sooner or later it's gonna be over.
Beaten to submission. Let me catch the chat room.
Yes.
Mama Jenkins says the church, New Hope NBC, should be standing with this family. Shabaka
they haven't come out yet.
Says greetings, Outlaws from Sin City. How you doing? He's in Vegas.
Peace.
Shabaka says, please check us out. They got a show tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. That was Shabaka who called early, but I can't. Whenever I get an echo, I can't do no show with no echo. Anybody who been on here with me in a while knows if that thing start echoing in my earphones, I'm like, oh, we got to cut this shit off. It's just the worst thing. So Shabaka, you're free to call back and promote your show for tomorrow. Vince said, good evening, Outlaws. This is just another situation that Shitty Hall Common Council representatives continue to approve license of establishments that have been a nuisance in our community. That's true. That if they ain't involved in nothing else, that's damn sure they fault. And they ignore what people like Sean and people in the community who ain't with the foolishness are saying to them and say, hey, well, this is what they want. They won't stop buying Newports. So we're gonna keep them in there. Mama Jenkins made a great point. She said that's Clyde Motley, who was on the show.
Yeah.
When Claude got shot, she said
Mhm.
she's his wife, who's an attorney, Kim Motley, is representing the family.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't. That's interesting, right? Shout out to
Yeah.
Claude, and they won an Oscar for his documentary. Shout out to Santana, who brought Claude on. That was a great show. I'm glad.
Shout out to
somebody
Vince
remembered.
Tony too, man, because he's been there daily, standing with the family, man. And we appreciate it.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, that's what's up, then. All right. All right. Big picture politics. I like that. Vince says, to Sean's point, why isn't the Office of Violence Prevention and 414 Life doing some of that community policing? That is, instead of ambulance chasing. Shots fired, Vince.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
Well,
Um,
they're getting away from that. They're getting away from that. That's why they're not doing it. They just haven't announced it yet.
I'd like to know what their new strategy is, because I know that the young lady, the sister who had taken over, her thing was trauma, right? Like she wanted to deal with like a lot of trauma and stuff like that in the community. That was her strategy upon coming in. And I've seen Brother Ashanti at a couple different press conferences, but I still don't know, are they still using this blueprint that they had before under Reggie Moore? Like, what is there? And I heard that there was supposed to have been some money so that they could expand the 414 Life people, all kinds of stuff, but I haven't seen what is their plan. I don't know.
Man, that blueprint ain't worth the paper that it's fucking written on. It ain't nothing.
Okay.
You know, you take a bunch of ideas. You ain't never had a fight in your life. But you take a bunch of ideas and you put them on paper and you present it beautifully. And that's all it was.
Nice PowerPoint, huh?
Yeah, beautiful.
Shabaka, they're on Blog Talk Radio. He's putting up the address that you can visit on the web for tomorrow night. They're from the West Coast. Shout out to Paris. They're all out on the West Coast, California, respectively. He says he's in Vegas and Paris is in Denver. You can see the times there if you want to check them out. I'll share it in the People's News Network as well, Shabaka. Paris says this Tuesday, he's talking about the show that they have coming up. So he's giving you the number to call. He said, please add this number to your phone plan so you aren't charged. I gotta get on how they're doing that, because I used to be on Blog Talk and I don't know. They charging you for calls now. Explain that. Explain that to me. Paris. Crystal Ship says Mo over at Sherman Park Grocery has the blueprint. He owns the laundromat, grocery store, the collaborative kitchen, and Airbnbs all on the same 2 blocks. He became the change. He didn't like the activity in the vacant stores. He figured out how to purchase and transform those spaces.
There you go.
That's what's up.
That's it.
That's what's up. That's
And
what's
see,
up.
hey, look, and see, that's what I'm talking about right there. Like I say, it's some of us people, some of us in the community, you know what I mean, is competent to be able to acquire these spaces. You know what I mean? It's just us. The easiest way to shut them down is to quit spending money.
Yes.
There you go.
People
And Mo has
frustrated,
the
like
plan.
Sean said, they frustrated with the fight, the legal way to get them shut down. So we can't go that route because the people ain't gonna do it. You know what I mean? We can't depend on all the people. The people frustrated with them too. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Okay, so now we got to get frustrated, period, and just quit spending our fucking money.
There you go. Economic.
Can I
And they're gonna close
Crystal
down and move when we quit spending our money. Because it ain't gonna be no more gold here for them.
Yeah, greetings, Outlaws. How y'all doing? This is Chewbacca calling you from Sin City, Las Vegas. Oh, yeah, y'all got a good point out there, man. For real, for real, for real. What it is, man, is that we got to start spending our money amongst ourselves, building for ourselves, and fuck all this inclusive shit, man, because you sure the hell could believe that these other no-good bastard groups out here ain't going to be inclusive with us. All they want to do is come to us. They thrive off our self-hatred. They thrive off there in the rap industry, you know what I'm saying? Well, you got these other races running this shit, you know what I mean? And every other word coming off the rap music, man, is bitch, motherfucker, this, and all this, and we're putting our own selves down. But I do appreciate the art of rhythm and poetry, is because that's in our musical development, you know, from the blues to the jazz, man, to R&B, you know what I'm saying? Now it's hip hop, but all I'm just saying is, ladies and gentlemen of hip hop, please change the fucking lyrics, okay? Because calling all our women these bitches ain't cool. Calling each other all these niggas ain't cool. And this is why these damn peckerwoods feel it's okay to sit up there and use this NGR term with us. And I saw a video of the brother, man, who told the white fella, man, don't use that term. So between the white fella, between their first N and the first G, a right cross landed that motherfucker right straight in his goddamn mouth, man, and that's what we need to be doing, returning it. You know, the chairman of Montgomery, man, was very, very inspiring. You know what I'm saying? And one thing about a chair, folks, it is a multi-purpose device. You could use it to sit down and rest your ass, and you could fold it up to beat some ass to get a motherfucker's mind right in a place like they did down there in Montgomery, Alabama. The governor of Florida is a punk. I'm saying that he wears female underwear, so I'm calling him the panties. He's a bitch-made motherfucker. And yeah, and Shabaka saying Corey said that goddamn Donald Duck Orange motherfucker looking Trump belongs right in the fucking penitentiary, walking a goddamn concrete, man, with the general population. Fuck that son of a bitch. You know what I mean? And the same thing with that sorry ass bastard Rudolph Giuliani, man, with his joker looking ass, you know, and all them tricks. And they even see, man, that they got some coon up there. You know what I'm saying? You know, have him walk the concrete too. Have him over there with his KK buddies, man. You know what I'm saying? And they'll show his dumb ass just what a nigga is. And then that sorry beaver ass motherfucker, Uncle Tim Scott, fuck him too. He's stupid. America is not the easiest country. See, people, the problem is, you know, as you all have been saying here on Outlaw Radio, man, dropping gems. It's up to us, black family, to take care of us. You know, we've come a long way. We've still got a long way to go, so we need to reach out to one another, and we need to be all inclusive within ourselves. Is because, you know, just like Dr. Umar Johnson had stated on one of his videos I just saw recently, why the fuck you think they trying to push this LBGT shit, man, over here on the African continent? It is to prevent us from procreating. I'm not going to use the word reproduce, is because that there is a manufacturing term, but the procreation of life, that it only happens between a union between man and woman, not two men fucking each other in the ass. It don't work like that. Take that shit back to Europe with that barbarian Alexander, you know what I mean? Socrates, Plato, and all them punks.
Shabaka, we done went from Alabama to ancient Greece.
Oh yeah, man, all them fools is related.
Everybody in between.
Looking at the evolution of these nasty ass motherfuckers, man. You know, look at this shit. And then they want to sit up there and tell you, man, well, George Washington was such a great man. He was the raping, slave trading pedophile as well too. Thomas Jefferson, the third president, Sally Hemings,
fuck everybody. Shabaka said, "Fuck everybody."
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then just like how they was talking about when the dump, as in human shit, and I want to make that perfectly clear. When they was having people locked up at the border talking about the children away from their parents and all that, but now one of these sons of bitches, man, is going to sit up there and mention the fact, well, what about our little babies that was taken out of their mama's arms on the auction block, and never to see that little baby again. That little baby being sold at 3, 4, 5 years old. Then when she started coming off into her teenage years and her years of womanhood and what have you, what is she referred to as a jewel and a bed wench? And this is why I appreciate the history of Malcolm X, who made it plain. This is why I appreciate Minister Farrakhan that made it plain. All the other scholars that made it plain. Dr. Khalid Muhammad, man, I mean, all of them. Especially to Tucson Overture and Nat Turner and what have you. The guys that made the ultimate sacrifice. And what we need to do, man, is stop worshiping these damn sun
Shabaka, do me a favor. tell us what about your
Yes,
show
sir.
tomorrow night. Tell us about your show.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, what we're doing tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen, is open mic discussion, about what's going on in these contemporary times because we have so much stuff going on. The dump being indicted on 91 charges. They threatening the black DA down there, threatening the judge and all that, but they saying this trick is supposed to be turning themselves in. Now, here's two things that I want to see, and all of us can identify this. I want to see that bastard's mugshot. I want to see his ass up there walking the concrete, and I want him sitting there and place on them damn chain gangs, man, just like they do us in the LA County Jail, the Alameda County Jail, the Cook County Jail, you know what I'm saying? And up there, the same thing with Milwaukee, same thing at Rikers Island right there, and have them punks do some hard fucking time. Not sending them to Camp Snoopy, you know what I'm saying? Not sending them to the resorts with the golf course and all that old type of shit. And then that place he got down there in Florida called Mar-a-Lago had the state seize that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? The same damn thing with that governor down there, the panties. And by the way, the panties, yeah, I'm calling you a transvestite.
Shabaka, let me
Yes,
do this because I got people in the chat room. And because
yes,
we want to
sir.
talk about some other stuff that's going on in our city, so I want to give you a chance to kind of put a crown on it, and so the people can just tune in and they can catch all of this tomorrow night.
Oh, yes, sir. Absolutely. Yeah, please give us a call, 516-418-5996. And also, too, please check out our chat room on Blog Talk Radio as well, too. And then as Brother Paris had put up there, be sure to add that phone number to your cellular plan so they will not charge you for the calls. It's because, these artificial intelligence, Silicon Game Valley people, telecommunications, they got too much money, man, and they're trying to make it a lot much more for themselves. And they're trying to prevent us from making money. Also, too, we got to keep our cooperative economics going on, very much so. All the way, man, from the science, the technology, the engineering, and the mathematics, and the marketing, man, internet marketing, man, and what have you. Also,
let me get to this. Let me get to this chat room. Let me get to this chat room for a second. Hold that thought. Because Crystal Ship is putting some important information in the chat room. Shout out to Paris LaShawn. He's saying what's up to you. Crystal says, I know for sure that 414 Life MK is out here doing the work. They are up at all times of the morning, pulling up on families with real resources for victims and the families. She says she can name 4 to 7 organizations that she know that are real life out here in these trenches making things happen.
They did come.
She said, what I respect most is that they don't have to post 50 pictures of them supporting victims and the families. They don't have to post about the 50 to 60 violence interventions they do every month. I think she was cut off, so I'm sure she's going to finish her statement. Mama Jenkins said Dr. Biko Baker was on 860, and he said that he was waiting to hear what's the plan for OVP. He also said that Mr. Hamilton is supposed to have some answers to the questions that he addresses within 2 weeks. I'm waiting on the answers. Dude is on fire. Okay. She said y'all needs to quit it. Y'all needs to quit it. Y'all needs to quit it. What was you finna say, Sean?
414 Life did show up. Some of them brothers did. As well did Quinn them, right? If I'm not mistaken, 414 Life was asked to leave.
Now, why would they be asked to leave?
Well, their messaging wasn't. Some people didn't want them there. It's man.
Right, but this is what I'm saying. Like, okay, so
let me say some stuff, right? You just because you go out and you get a few people that's connected. It don't make okay. Say that the pie costs for apples, right? And you give me apricots.
Okay.
It ain't the same kind of pie.
Right. No, it's not. It's different. It's
right?
Apricot pie.
And I knew one of the brothers there, right? The other brothers I had never met, and my family, they didn't know him. what they were offering, we could provide for ourselves.
But don't every little bit help though? This is what I'm saying. Okay, so this is where I get back to our community because tonight, yes,
No,
people might
hold
say,
on.
"Kev, you
Let me
going?"
tell you what
No,
helps.
hold on. This is where I get at the community.
Okay.
We standing here. We're for something. We about something. Somebody shows up. We don't want you here. Leave. Bye. To me, that's like, why wouldn't everybody be welcome to come and say, "Hey, well, we offer this or we offer that"? Like, why is it that you got to leave? Not just that. Okay, well, we don't really need that right now, but y'all welcome to stick around and show some support. Man, could
Check
y'all
this
leave?
out. Check this out, right? We don't need no waters. We don't need the numbers to the clinician. Bring the clinician with you. We
Okay.
don't need the number to this service or that service or that service. Bring the people to the people that need it. They shouldn't have to go out. We're talking about people that are suffering from trauma, right? And they need psychological first aid. They don't need words.
Okay. From that
Right?
perspective, but damn, do you got to leave or can you just like get the
If
fuck
you're
out of
there
here?
offering resources, right, and your resources are numbers to other places that offer resources, what are you providing that we don't already
Okay.
have?
Okay, I got you. But I still say, why did they have to leave though? Why didn't you just
Because, well, you know, I'm we only 2 blocks away from Capitol, and I got a problem with who operates that place, right? Before I got back, they had already been told to leave. My sister ain't gonna mess with nobody that I don't mess with. If
you said on Capitol, what
yeah,
place?
we
What
on
place are we?
Roosevelt.
You talking about you got a problem with the person who runs the gas station?
No, with the gas station and 414 Life.
So why do you have a problem with 414 Life?
That's a whole different show, man. We ain't got time for that.
Well, I mean, you laid it out there. You
We
can't
ain't got
tell
time for
people
that.
I got a problem with them and
We ain't
this. Hey,
got
I ain't
time.
gonna tell you
Well,
why. Ancient Chinese secret.
he's a rat.
Okay.
He's
Let's leave it at that.
he's a rat. You know, like I just told you, the blueprint, that's a bunch of everybody else's ideas
Okay.
that you just compile to move up a little bit.
Crystal
You know?
saying, she said, "Fam, they provide mental health professionals. They've sent them to schools of slain students."
Huh?
The OVP. She said they provide mental health
I
professionals. They've
wasn't
even
I wasn't talking about OVP.
414
So
Life is part of OVP,
no,
correct?
they're not.
Are they separated?
Yeah.
Okay. They used to be under OVP. Okay.
No,
So
414 Life is now under the Medical College of Wisconsin.
right.
Yeah.
And OVP was under the Medical College of Wisconsin as well. As a matter of fact, the report came out that they were going to separate them and get away from them being run by the medical college so they could be open to more community collaborations.
OVP is a part of the health department,
Okay.
right? And 414 Life, which was a part of the health department under OVP, is now
Medical
funded
college.
and they're at the medical college.
Cool.
And a lot of them, I know a lot of them are on site and they do deal with people that come in, right? I'm not talking about that particular part of it though. I'm talking about when you go into the community, a lot of and I know for a fact that there's only so many people actually trained that have certificates that do psychological first aid in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee.
Okay.
And what's needed, man, and I believe that they have the capacity to offer this and do this, is to have people on site that recognize
I'm
that
just
sort of trauma
I'm just
and
saying, why can't we
offer
all
those
do
sort
what
of
we
services.
do? Why can't we all just whatever services I bring, as long as I show up, I'm there to contribute. I like to me, this is where the problem starts because it's like well, we against them, and they against them, and then they against them, and that's how we end up being this incredible city of silos in which I would have just started to say, hey man, this ain't really, if y'all got access to some mental health resource, like not even resources, but the professionals, can you bring them down here? That's all we ask. We don't really want no flyers or nothing like that out of respect to the family. I just don't feel it should have been like, hey man, y'all gotta move around. This community, I get frustrated with the community because people complain, but then at the end they ain't gonna do shit. Whether it's because, oh well, we've been disappointed so many times, we just ain't gonna try no more, or oh, because we've been lied to, we just give it all up. I just feel like it's all excuse, and I feel like the people in the community, the elements that exist in our community, when them street lights come on at night, the people who come into that gas station ain't the kind of people that you want to necessarily be around.
Let me say something, man. Okay, this Outlaw Radio, right? So check this out. You got people on the ground, right, that don't ain't gonna deal with the police, uh, know what's going on with Cointel Pro, and I'm not talking about, I'm not saying all them brothers, go back and report stuff, but they have to file reports, right? And a lot of that, well, what did you see today? What did you hear today? Right? We down there organizing. We down there strategizing. Right? We down there implementing tactics. Right? Talking about tactics, solutions, how we gonna operate, and we can't allow anybody that's associated, connected with the city, with these offices, right, that continue to protect these people that we are about to go to war with, because that's what this is.
Okay.
And we believe that, if you work for the city of Milwaukee and you come down there, you need to be vetted. We're gonna ask you questions. We want to know, why are you down here? And if your answers don't line up with what we looking to do,
you gotta kick
you know,
rock.
yeah, nobody forced them to leave. They were politely
I
asked, hey,
mean, I think what's understood don't need to be said. If we say, hey man,
yeah,
we think it's best around anywhere around Capitol. If somebody say they suggest you leave,
it's best
if I was you, I
it's
would
best
take
you
their
move
advice
around,
and
man.
leave. Right. Let me catch my chat room, Sean. Vaughn Mays, what up? What up, Vaughn? How you doing, my brother? We got to get Vaughn on the show, man. We got to get him back on. He had inboxed me about coming back on, so we got to get Vaughn on. I like to show unity in the community. So y'all might see us arguing or debating, but we can still sit down and have the important conversations.
What up, bro?
Marcus shouting out Vaughn. He says, "Greetings, Vaughn Mays Bay. Long time no hear from." Earl Henning is in the chat room. Shout out to Earl. He said, "Losing 2 young people to gun violence and 1 to suicide. I'm just here to deal with it." Right, man. Crazy, ain't it? Crazy. Mama Jenkins said there's very little resources for families that's been affected by homicides. I know this due to my niece's situation when her son got murdered at the gas station on Fond du Lac last year. The organizations are not trained to handle most of these situations. Vaughn said they don't let them, bro. The city runs like a corporation. He said
Right.
they don't let them get in anything dangerous or real. Them
There
working
you
with
go.
us, he said they have been, because we kind of make them go against that because my team does that work. Okay. Okay. That's why I said anybody, and I want the critics, when we have a conversation, right? It's not all about us holding hands and singing kumbaya, right? So that's why I always say, if I'm wrong, somebody call and let me know, right? If somebody's out there actually doing the work, call me, let me know, represent on the show, and I don't mind standing corrected. So if there's people out there who really doing it, those are the people who I would rather have on the show. That's why me and Kamar always say we work with everybody, but we don't rock with anybody, right? It's just certain people that we're gonna say, all right, well, we could rock with him or her because they actually doing what needs to be done. So what Sean is doing and what Vaughn is doing and what I've
They're
seen the
just
brother
doing
Dan
something.
doing, that's people who I'd rather have conversations about with and say, hey, I know you out here. So what's going on? Right. That's why I value when brothers like Vaughn and Sean and all these brothers come on, man. That's what Outlaw Radio is about. Now let me kind of switch this up a little bit. We'll get back to that before we close. But I just gotta say this because there's a lot of sickness going on. But somebody need to explain to me what's up with this sister the 33-year-old sister with the 14-year-old that she's having sex with, teaching at the private school in Wauwatosa.
She was teaching him. What you mean?
She has a sexual relationship with him. And it's crazy because this happens, right? We know this happens. The teachers get involved with students, and it's a sick situation, and it's criminal. But she goes so far as to purchase him a handgun for his birthday, right?
Yep.
And so now she's bought him a strap. She's having sex with this dude. She's sending texts and pictures, and then he asks for another gun, and she says no, so they break up. She's facing 45
she got played by an 8th grader.
Well,
she got played by an 8th grader.
She facing 43 years. She facing 43 years. I don't want her to get to 43 years. I want her to get 42 years. You know, cut her some slack because she was still teaching. Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, man. Order, man.
He was teaching them sex ed.
Right. So he getting special help, right? Like
right.
Extra credit.
But I mean, come on, little puppy.
Listen, throughout all of I worked as a teacher in MPS years, worked with young people extensively, and I've never seen a kid that appealed to me in a way. Like I've never said, oh man, she cute and I should risk my job and my life and my career for. I understand it's a sickness. I understand that it's a sickness, but we wonder how people are able to get through to the point where she's teaching in a private school in Wauwatosa.
Well, you know, Kev, her sickness is she gives herself so many excuses on why it's okay, and she don't even understand that that's what she's doing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. My thing is this though, man. This ain't the first one.
No,
this ain't her first relationship
or the last one.
It might be her last.
No, I mean, well, you saying this ain't her first one? Okay, I was saying in general, but yeah, you're right. This might be it.
This might be her last relationship.
Well, hold on. Her last with the
with a little boy.
Well, no, because you know these people they claim sickness and they don't, like, people would think, oh, you gone for life, but that's not always the case. And we know that in Milwaukee, there's some strategically placed sex offenders right around the corner from you. I would encourage everybody to get the app. I knew the name of it. We used to endorse it here on the show. Get on there and check the registry. It's not even necessarily getting the app. You can find out what's registered sex offenders live around you. Do that, and you'll be surprised at all the red dots that pop up. You'll be like, what? Because they secretly kind of place them back in the community. So we don't know if she'll come home in 12, 15 years and get her another 15-year-old. We don't know. That might be it for a while.
That part was the joke, right?
Huh?
That part was the joke. You just made our joke serious and shit.
Oh, my bad.
He just fucked the whole joke up, bro.
You just made our joke.
He fucked the whole joke up.
My bad. Party pooper, right?
But definitely, I doubt if this was her first.
I do. I feel you on that.
And like I said, as soon as I heard it, my first thought was she got played by an 8th grader. Because you know what I mean? He dealt with her, got her to buy him a pistol, you know what I mean? Hey, look, then he went and told his guy about it. His guy in school was like, oh, I want one. And then he went back and tried to get another one. She ain't give it to him. He quit fucking with her.
Right, on some middle school shit. I broke up with you because you wouldn't buy me. I wonder, did he send her a letter? And be like, right. I don't want to go with you no more. But listen, but this is the question I asked too, as a man, and I'm probably gonna get smacked upside the head. I'm sorry, but I have to ask this question. Who snitched? And why? Like he told,
he did. He had to do it because she didn't get him the pistol.
But damn, like what?
Yeah, okay. He played her.
Right, no doubt. And maybe he realized
8th grader, dog.
Maybe he realized at a certain point that he was being exploited.
Be a beast later.
I don't know if he realized or if he was just really that mad about the strap, or did he say, "Hey, this is wrong"? I mean, because if you think about 15-year-old you, if you got a teacher who's saying, "Hey,
I ain't saying nothing wrong," that's the right.
He gonna be like Magic Don Juan by the time he's 20.
Man, I mean, he's broken. He off the porch. Like he's I hope that he gets whatever help he needs because that could really. But the thing that's gonna mess it up is you told though. Why? Because she wouldn't get you a gun. Like, okay, and I don't want to because this sounds
Hey,
funny.
he probably told her he was gonna do it.
Would
Yeah,
you? Okay, do you think at 15 Kamar would have told, or you would have just wrote? You would have just enjoyed the ride all the way out.
I
Well,
wouldn't have
I
asked.
know. Hey, listen, man. Look, he was in a relationship with her. You know what I mean? He like, look, I need this gun. I need it. You know, they kids, they got a bad temper. You know what I'm saying? I need it.
I
Okay,
got
if you don't
drama.
get it, I'm telling.
I got ops. Right.
No, you ain't. You ain't gonna tell. I ain't getting it. I'm just not gonna do it. I'm not getting your friend a gun because I'm sure that's what it was. His guy
Yeah.
wanted one. You
But
know
no, I
what I'm
asked you a question.
What?
If 15-year-old, 13-year-old Kamar, would you have told on the teacher if she was doing that to you? And would you have told?
Nah, I'd have kept seeing what I could get.
Okay.
I'd have said, okay, I can't get that. All right.
Well, I'll just take the car. Right. Like
Let me use your car.
Yep.
right. I need my own set of keys. This is bad. It's
I
bad.
was a lot smoother than that.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out if my mind is fucked up. Rail, would you have told 13-year-old Rail? You getting the teacher giving you a little extra curriculum? Would you have told?
Man, shit, as an adult, I still don't tell. Shit. I ain't about to fuck up being able to come back. I don't
You know you
tell.
don't tell as an adult. I mean,
As a kid, as an adult, I always understood. Look, man, I always been big. So I learned that, you keep your mouth shut, motherfuckers will come back and revisit. So I even as a kid doing shit that I wasn't supposed to do, it's shit that people still don't know to this day that I was doing
so
what I
you
wasn't
wouldn't have
supposed
told
to
on
do.
your teacher. You wouldn't have told on her. Okay.
Nah, man.
Sean, do I even got to ask you? Because you a lesbian. Do I even got to ask you?
Listen, man. Not only would I have not told,
His phone said you will not finish.
Right. How about that?
My timing is impeccable. I made up for fucking up y'all joke, Kamar.
How about that?
Right. You will freeze. Crystal Ship said at the end of the day, individually, what can you do to change your surroundings? It's not about what others are doing. It's about you doing what you can to make it better. You don't have time to focus on who ain't doing what or how they should do it if you're simply doing your part. No doubt. Hey, dude, the swim lane, stay in your swim lane. Shabaka said, join us tomorrow. He's putting the number up. Listen, I did that thing with the phone calls with Blog Talk. I abandoned Blog Talk a long time ago. I used to do my show when I first started on Blog Talk, and the technology was just bad. And this was like, even though it was at the time probably the most advanced podcasting service that would allow you to do this, it was just bad. You couldn't depend on it. It was always some sort of wrinkle. And so now I'm seeing, he said that they're charging for people to call in. That's crazy. That's just stupid. Earl Ingram said that girl wanted a man, but she didn't know what a man was, or she thought she knew what a man was. Crystal Ship said Wauwatosa made a public post saying she never worked at their school. So she wasn't a teacher at that school, at the Lutheran school, because they had them. The news report that I put in the People's News Network had that school. And they said that their official statement was as soon as they found out, they call the police. She said rape or sexual assault gets less time than drugs. So when I said they don't always get, you think that they're going to go away.
Yeah, they definitely do. They definitely
get out, right?
Drugs.
Says she got him for his youth. Women can be the worst pedophiles. Or some people say the best teachers. I don't know, depending on the way you look at it. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Well, it don't matter her profession.
Right. No. He
her
said
profession really don't matter whether she was a teacher at that school, a teacher at another school, or if she was a janitor, or if she was a cab driver.
You just fucked my joke up because he said they could be the worst pedophiles. I said, or the best teachers of sex. Like that. You fucked my joke up. Thank you, Kamar. Thank you. Now I know how it feels and shit.
Bang,
right?
Bang.
Right. Fucking joke up. Vaughn says they definitely soft on sex offenses. It's a lot of predators walking around Milwaukee. It's people who've been accused and there was proof, and because they was part in the crew, they just didn't prosecute them. And they still work around kids. Oh yeah. I mean, I seen some sketchy behavior. I never seen nothing that was too egregious because I'd have told on a motherfucker. When I taught for MPS, I used to see some brothers who was a little bit too physical. You know what I mean? Like I'd be like, I don't trust no brother who always hugging on the little girls and shit. Say, man, you can freeze that shit. You want to hang with me? I don't even get close to the line. We didn't even have me getting subpoenaed for shit. So, but there's people who, they can be really affectionate with kids. Alexandria Brewer has a great idea. She said we need to normalize beating up your local predator. Oh shit. Right. He said you got to be smarter than the 8th grader. You should be. If you 30-something and he's 13, she gotta be.
Hey,
wow.
hey, Kev, you fucked this joke up. Remember the show? Remember the game show Smarter Than the 8th Grader?
Right, I did. Damn, what's up with that tonight?
Fuck this joke
up. This is a joke killing Monday, right? Outlaw Radio on a Monday. Call in and get your joke assassinated. Vaughn says his mother told. He has the criminal complaint.
So I wonder how his mother found out.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what parents tend to look in the phone and like, oh hell no, what is this? And he like,
for that, yeah.
Because I'm hoping he didn't go tell his mama. Listen, I shouldn't say that. I hope he did tell his mama. I'm fucked up in the head. Earl says no one has to know anything about what I got going on. Yeah, grown man laws. But 13 is 13. You get hit with some action like that, you got to tell somebody. No, don't tell nobody. And look what she bought me. Cuz like, oh, this nigga got a Glock 19. It's crazy. Man.
I see if I could get her to get you one.
Right. Man,
I can see an 8th grade boy doing that.
Telling all these guys, hey, look, this bitch gonna buy everybody in the clique a pistol, dog.
Right. She got a lot of money. She rich.
She a teacher, nigga. She getting money. Vaughn says, when molestation or inappropriate sex shit with boys happens, it's not looked at as the same as if it was a man dealing with a young female. Women preying on boys is not new, and it doesn't get talked about enough. You just hit a great point, Vaughn, because when Samantha Collier is on here, she's talked about from Team Teal 365. She's talked about the normalizing of it being kind of like okay for a woman to do that to a little boy. And it's an absolute death sentence for a man to do it to a little girl. And I believe that too. God damn it. If he fucking with little girls, can beat his ass. I'm just saying. Not that I don't feel like the woman is wrong either. This will be a whole other show if I start talking about my perspective on it. I am not endorsing it. I'm not endorsing it. I'm not. But there's intricacies and like kind of, it's all molestation and it's all wrong. He said he must have looked like LeBron James as an 8th grader, right? Or Rick James, one of the two. Nobody's killing that joke.
That Western frame of mind we done conform to.
It is, man. It's nasty ass Greek shit. Yeah, man. Come on over and you gotta
unplug.
Yeah, man. And listen, I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just, as a boy, I try to go back to 13-year-old Kevin and say, what would you have done? And it might be a conversation that might be therapeutic for me, because like you said, my brain might be connected to the matrix. I never say that I'm, pure as Lake Minnetonka. I have issues myself. Vaughn says it starts by her calling the police for him going missing or running away. Oh, okay. He stole her car or somebody's car. She mentioned he may have been at the teacher's house and she thinks they have a sexual relationship. Also, that thing had him going.
Man, she knew it. She think he might be at the teacher's house. He
probably was in, right? She probably got a little bread. We so bad. We're horrible.
She knew it.
So as a 13-year-old, it had him wilding out. And maybe that's the thrill that a woman gets out of it, like, because that stuff drives grown men crazy. So imagine a 13-year-old boy getting it put on him by an experienced woman. He gonna be like, dude, I'm stealing my mama car to go see her. That's the damage it does. That's where it's bad at. Thank you for pointing that out.
So he was stealing cars and had pistols, and then the grown woman. So the grown woman ain't the only issue, I guess. I mean, it sounds like a whole multitude of things that might have been going in that situation.
Man, a Kia boy with an illegal Glock.
His mama, right? His mama.
It seems like the mama might know more, right? Okay.
She knew about his lifestyle.
Yeah, he out here.
Hey, his mama knew about his lifestyle.
It used to be like every summer,
Yeah,
girls used to disappear just to be found at their adult boyfriend house or at the mama of their boyfriend house type shit. That
Yeah.
damn thing used to happen every summer.
Pedophile's been pedophile in a long
yeah.
time. Um,
And it's
Vaughn said I
always
lost my
somebody, and that's
virginity at
always somebody
15.
who knew.
He said he lost his virginity at 15 to like a 23, 24-year-old woman here in Milwaukee, so he know how it can be. Did you tell? I don't know. Did you tell, Vaughn? Did you say, nah, look, it's between us? You know, a lot of us have been, you know, affected in this way as men. I'm look, once Samantha Collier kind of when we had
Shit,
that
most of them.
conversation, when she opened that, when we come
I
on,
ain't
you remember, I was actually moved. I was for real. Rail's laughing at me.
No, I'm saying
I
I ain't
was
saying
I was
shit.
I was moved because I had this fixed perspective of that kind of like, man, you a youngster, you a grown woman, you get to do that, like you the man. Like that's for me. I'm feeling like we would have treated each other like that, like saying, man, that nigga, man, he got a grown woman. Nobody, none of your friends would have said, dude, you're getting exploited and abused, and this is wrong, and you need to get counseling. You're gonna be messed up behind this. He's be like, dude, you better not tell. What you stupid? That's our mentality. That's I guess that's what Kamar says.
Man, listen, man, everybody knew he was messing with his teacher. He told everybody. His mama knew
Yeah,
it, his friends knew it.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the
They
R.
knew
Kelly
it.
Aaliyah shit. All right, they had
Yeah.
mixtapes together. They was on it was on Instagram together.
Yeah, his mama
Right?
didn't care. He probably was getting good grades from her. You know what I mean? She knew about the stolen cars and all that shit.
Probably had a little bankroll. Where you
Yeah,
get that money
something.
from? Earl Henning said, damn, he said they would have been like, damn, dude, you got every pair of Jordans out. Don't you? He said, yeah, my girl bought them for me. Yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. Like,
She a
at
teacher.
your age now, you thinking like, man, I'd have had me a Kia Stinger out of this or something but nah, man, he needed a gun or he was gonna tell.
It
Vaughn
all
said,
got
he said,
teachers
hell, goddamn, no, I didn't tell. he said, he
though.
said, I knew it was wrong, but shit, I was out here in these streets. Women approach me all the time. Listen, if you and this is part of this lifestyle, right? Like in growing up in the city, growing up on the
Mhm.
turf, growing up on the soil, there are situations where all of us, I would say a majority of us, have been involved in some kind of level with a woman that was way older than you. If you were living this life, if you was out here, because you, especially if you out here, you know, you flipping, because that's how cats end up dope dating. Like, man, you know, 13, 12 with the bag, and people say, I didn't have to dope date. Some did. And so, you know, all of a sudden, this woman who you done seen forever on the block, and she was Miss so, she got a drug problem. She said, hey, woo, woo, woo. That's how a lot of brothers get, you know, brought in the game. So it does come. That's part of it. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite books by Mr. Robert Beck, aka Iceberg Slim, it's called Pimp:
Mhm.
The Story of My Life, and he talks about what initially corrupted him in terms of fucking his mind up with his perception of women is there was an older woman who started messing with him, teaching him how to scam, and eventually it became sexual. And he says in his book, like, man, this woman was a tornado. Like, she basically turned him out. And so this has been going on, and this was in the 40s, if you read the book. So it's been going on a very long time. And unfortunately, a lot of our young men, we're always looking for validation, especially when we growing up. So if some tragic could happen to you, and you think like, man, dude is the man. Like if you had a homie who was always in DT or always going to Wales when we was growing up, you didn't say, damn, man, you fucking your life up. You're getting started on the wrong path. You said, man, that nigga crazy. Dude be out here, man. He don't care. He bad as fuck. It was almost like a badge of honor. So I guess Kamar's point is true. We have to unplug our Kamar. This is why I keep saying, yeah, these gas stations are problem spots, and yeah, these areas, but it's us who are the
Keeping
problems,
them in business. It's us keeping them in
and
business.
we're also the ones,
It's us that's the problems around the motherfucker. You know what I mean?
right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we the ones. It's actually us in the parking lot doing what we
Yeah.
do. It's actually us coming in there snatching and grabbing. I listen. The reason why it's like that is a whole other issue. But what I'm also saying is we are so upset with these organizations, but we should be mad at ourselves for number one, our behavior, and number two, our continued patronage of these places. Because like Kamar said, like I've said, we've all said this on the show a million times. If you don't spend your money, the place won't stay open. But the problem is, a lot of us are cheerleaders for foolishness. Let's be honest here. A lot of us say, "Wait, man, meet me at the gas station. You got some, yeah, meet me at the gas station." You don't think none of it. You go to that gas station. You say, "Man, it's hot out here." You say, "No, man, I come up here all the time." Now it might be the only time you met him there, but you just contributed to the situation. All I bought was a little bag of weed. Well, that's what everybody's saying, right?
So did the 50 other motherfuckers that just pulled up.
Right. All I did was buy a couple wraps out the gas station. Right. Which is why they have a display case the size of the wall, because everybody's just buying blunt wraps out the gas station. And who's buying them? Us. Right? You got to go listen to Ice Cube's song Us. It's the greatest rap song ever written.
Though? Hey, you know what? Really? Like, let's think realistically though. Like, if, like we said, for us to stop going to these places in the community, we got to put a lot more stuff in place. Like, how are they gonna get to somewhere where they can get groceries?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to have something in place, like some kind of cab system or something. You know what I'm saying?
But for a gas station, it's not the same
demand. I'm talking because we talking about corner stores and shit in the community,
gas stations.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And a lot of the people in the community using these places as grocery stores.
But now, what is the coincidence? Coincidence, Kamar, that you got a restaurant in the hood spot, it's fucked up. People get robbed, killed, beat up. It's owned by Arabs. Gas station, people get beat up, killed, robbed. It's owned by Arabs. You got a liquor store. People get beat up, killed. It's owned by Arabs. Right. Everything they do in our community is detrimental to us.
That's right.
And they are allowed to do it over and over, and you'll get excuse after excuse. And I liked what Sean said about understanding that the process you do have to go through when you go downtown and try to file some sort of complaint, or you go down there and you want to, say, let's do something with their license. Yeah, people be like, nah, I ain't got time for all that.
And when you ride through our community, man, all you see is places with stuff that sells stuff that got stuff that's harmful to us. And not only is the area around the store, but everything in the store is harmful to us. You know what I mean? You ride through other communities, you don't see it. It don't look like that. You know what I mean? Other communities got healthy grocery stores and shit, healthier grocery stores. You know what I mean? With better food options and shit. Even the Mexicans. You know what I'm saying? Shit, that's where I go to get my produce and shit. You know what I mean?
Everywhere, Kamar, I've been in the suburbs, and especially I really miss fishing. Damn, I want to go fishing again. If my back don't get right so I can fish. But I've been up north. We've gone to a bunch of, far away just to fish. And there's Arab-owned gas stations, and they look nothing like the ones that you roll up on Locust or Burla, or they don't look like that. So the only difference is
to a standard.
And there might be a trailer park right here, and they might be, some poor white people living over here. And I'm not saying white people don't do crimes. What I'm saying is there's an intention in making sure things that are in their communities more often than not are run correctly. All poor white people out there who listen to the show don't talk at the same time. They're like, you don't know what you're talking about, boy. You've never been to my trailer park before. Well, call in, goddammit, and tell us how bad it is in your white community. Because usually if they start doing something counter to the community, they getting closed down. Because the white people we're going to have a town hall, buddy. You're done.
Yeah, that's what I was finna say. You know what I mean? They community hold them to a standard.
Yeah. And, it seems like their politicians don't have to lie. Black politicians almost have to lie. Because most of them ain't going to do shit. But if they tell you that, you're not going to vote for them. So they almost have to lie to you and say, hey, I'm going to get crime reduced. Knowing damn well you ain't gonna do shit. He says, Earl Henny says, all I have to say is 4.0 for that classroom. Yeah, he got an A, right? He got an A, I guess. But now she's gonna get an F as in felony, and he's gonna need some therapy. Unless, I don't know what kind of young man he is. I have to meet him. Vaughn says their leaders value their concerns and will act fast. because they vote, and if they don't, they'll go back and tell that official, your ass is not getting elected again. Yeah, we're not gonna vote for you, buddy. And so we talk like that, but we don't vote anyways. That's why I laughed when remember when the white troll hit us up a couple months ago and said 96% of the black community votes for Democrats. I said, yeah, but only goddamn 8% of the community votes. That only shit. 96% of that 8? What the fuck are you talking about? I speak statistics too, motherfucker. Fuck up out of here. We won't vote. And but we don't know. Like Dion is a perfect example of somebody who says, you know what? I'm gonna keep myself safe. I'm gonna keep, doing what I gotta do. And I ain't gonna even fuck it. I don't care about the rest of the shit. I ain't gonna even watch the news and none of that. And a lot of black people operate like that. Like, man, I'm just, I'm just trying to maintain and keep mine. And that's what it comes down to.
The zombie apocalypse. You board your shit up and survive. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Because it's like, what else can you do? I mean, like I said before, even if they shut this shit down, it's a mindset. The motherfuckers gonna like you can't stop grown adults from making adults sit like folk who be like well, if there wasn't prostitutes, men wouldn't be cheating or some shit like that. It's like, nah, that nigga just cheats. But
caller, you gotta turn your device down.
So it's like just like
hold on.
If they can't link up in front of the store to get it, they gonna get it from somewhere.
Hold on, bro. We got a bad echo.
Oh yeah.
All
right. Who's this?
This is Earl.
Who?
This big Earl.
Oh, okay. My fault. I thought this was Sean Moore calling back. That's why I'm like, who is this? What's going on, brother? What's on your mind, man? Thanks for calling in.
Hey, man, I'm baffled. It takes a lot of guts for a woman nowadays with the internet and all this stuff out here to go sleep with an 8th grader.
Okay.
Her self-esteem must have been low. It had to be low. She must have been mistreated by her older brother, so she figured if she gets somebody that she can raise, she can get what she wants. She thought she was in charge, but really it was the 8th grader that was in charge. Because look what you lost.
That's the sad part, right?
Yeah. And it's baffling that we would all sit here and talk about it. But now if I was an 8th grader and my teacher was decent looking and we was getting it on, I don't think I would have told. My mama would have knew something though, because my mama would have said, "Where is you getting all this stuff from, boy? You selling dope?"
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. But your behavior too, as a 13-year-old, when a grown woman does that to you, it strips you of your innocence and your behavior changes. Any man who goes from never having been involved with a woman on a physical level, once he does get kind of like as my father used to say, you smelling yourself. You got a taste. He say once you get one, it changes you. Your skin clears up, right? Like your voice deepens. Like physically, you ain't the same no more. You carry yourself a little bit different. You
don't hit the toilet. You don't hit the toilet rim no more.
Right? You in the arc and you piss, right?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure even if it hadn't just been money, but I know my mom, who was very observant, would have been like, "Well, wait a minute, hold on, you walking a little bit different. You ain't. What's going on with you?" And then the time is another thing. So. And I would say this to this sister: if you got a 13-year-old and all of a sudden he's stealing cars and he's acting out and this kind of thing, his behavior is kind of like a reflection of something going on. As they say with children, their behavior is a manifestation of what they're not articulate enough to say. So when they start acting out, it's like a cry for attention.
But we don't know if he actually who he's been sleeping with other than the teacher.
That's true too. Kids start a little bit earlier nowadays, right?
It could be the next door neighbor, because you know how they is. They out here, they don't have no man. So what you think they out here doing? Look at that boy, he big. I wonder what he look like in the inside. They out here horny. So a bunch of horny women running around the city of Milwaukee, and we all know it. look at, we all know there's a bunch of horny women out here in this city of for real. They give it up anytime. They take a nigga in, they take a nigga in, they ain't got a dime, and try to change him to bring him to the best part of his life. And he don't even know it. Somehow he didn't even know he had it going on. Man, I'd have had good grades. My mom would have said, boy, I love your grades getting better. I would have said, yeah, mama, I've been studying. I've been studying how to hit my teacher every night. That's all I'd have been doing.
He was getting dirty photos and sex. They was doing
Oh.
dirty texting, and so he's just the man with his guys. Like, dog, check it out. That's what she sent me last night. Like, oh, and it's always a little dude that's jealous too, who gonna tip it off.
Oh,
like,
yeah, you know that. You know,
think he tough because he got the teacher, and he gonna go tell his mama. Have her call
I
him to
wouldn't
school.
have told.
That's why
they wouldn't have knew. They would have wondered why. They'd have said, oh, his mama must got a good job. He got all the new Nikes and everything. He got the new polo shirts.
He tried to get a new Glock, and she refused. She said no.
No, because that was too much, man. He got stupid with it. I wouldn't even went for a gun. They'd have said, dude, where you get a car from? I'd have got a car though. I'd have got me a car. If you want to still keep getting this teacher, you got to get me a car. You got to.
Oh my God, boy!
You'd have been wondering how does man get a Corvette?
She wasn't making that kind of money. You'd have had to break up with her.
I ain't talking about a brand new Corvette. I'm talking about this is one where her taxes is done right. She can even file me on her taxes. Where did the world go to?
Man, where's it at?
But no, all jokes aside though, man, it's a shame. I don't think it's gonna damage him because he had a plan. He knew what he was doing. Some of these kids, man, 13, 14 years old, they think they're grown anyway. So, they don't know until they know.
Right.
Give him a bill to pay. He'd have set his ass down if he'd had a bill he had to pay.
But okay, so just because I play devil's advocate a lot of times, if the sister's gonna have this young man, she's dealing with him, why wouldn't she teach him how to be a respectable young man and make her a man? You feel me? Like she trains him to say, no, baby, this is how you do it. I ain't gonna buy you no pistol. That's gonna get you in trouble. Don't you know gun violence is a problem?
Cause she needed training.
Okay.
He was supposed to lead her, and he didn't know it. Once you 13 and you get a 30-year-old woman, you gonna try to manipulate her as best you can in everything you do. She didn't have no kids. So I would have had PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Girl, keep talking about going shopping. As long as I'm at Northridge spinning cheese, I'm good.
Man, hey. Northridge, no, I couldn't go to Northridge. They ain't got nothing in there.
All up in Capitol Court back in the days at Johnny Walker.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, they'd been saying playmakers would have knew me by heart. They saw coming in, they'd have waved. They'd say, yeah, this is my sponsor. I would have never said she was a teacher. She sponsored me. She kidnapped me.
my mentor. My godmother, right?
My mentor. She's very
it's
good
horrible.
to me.
It's horrible that we even have jokes about this. I know women is like, this is why I hate men. Because it's horrible that
they do it to us. If one of us would have did it, just Kevin, just figure when you was working in the school and you did it.
Yeah, it would have been hell to take to the captain. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Because my family would have gave it to me. My mother in particular. Because
you don't think her family giving it to her?
I don't know. I would hope. There's some shame.
Not unless it's a family full of pedophiles.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I don't know where even if she has a family. We're almost judging this lady without even. She may be severely traumatized. She may have been molested as a youth. You didn't say hurt people. We are like, we don't know what.
Wouldn't we do the same thing to a man though?
Say that again, Kamar.
Wouldn't we do the same thing to a man though?
We would.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We would.
Okay.
You're right.
Yeah, I mean, because it's ironic that we talking about this, we discussing this, because this is a big issue. Because this doesn't happen. How many teachers have been told on? You might hear one. It might be another 20 years from now when you hear about another one.
I have actually know a brother, and I will never say his name. I'm not going to even say the school I went to, but we were in middle school, and there was a particular 8th grade science teacher. As a matter of fact, I know 2 brothers, one from high school and one from middle school. But my brother, who I was really cool with, told me, he said, man, I went back one time when we first got out of middle school just to visit and ended up getting with this particular teacher. I'm like, are you serious? He was like, dude, for real, for about a year or 2, I was messing around with her. And I know she was in her late 30s, so this has been happening for a long time, but I don't know. And I don't know the frequency of people telling. Men are bad because we be like, you should have never told. Like,
hey, well,
that's bad for men to feel that way.
Right, but I'm gonna say it like this, and I'm gonna let you brothers go for the night. I wouldn't have told nothing because it would have to been somebody catching me and her doing something for me to tell anything.
Okay.
And when nobody gonna know it, I wouldn't have been doing it in no park. If she had her house, I got my book. This is my tutor. She is tutoring me. That's how I'd have been. I'd have been the greatest student in the world.
That's what we are. That's how we are.
And look at his grades, Gil. His grades just went shot up. He went from a D to an A in 2 weeks.
What you say, Kamar?
I feel like that's what we all would have said. All us men, you know what I mean? We'd have said back then, But we got to be careful, man, because it almost sounds like we starting to glorify it.
I know. That's what.
You know what I'm saying? And really, it's not cool. And that's what we talking about now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
It's not cool. It's not cool.
No, it ain't.
And who knows what she was actually doing to the boy? Like, she could have been doing some of the most perverse things. That might be it. That you can get away with doing this to a young boy that you couldn't get away with doing to most heterosexual brothers out here. So we don't know what she done to him. I don't even want to know, actually. But so when we make jokes about it, it is kind of like we're laughing about it, but it's fucked up. It's bad. It's a bad situation.
Yeah, because as quiet as it kept, it's a lot of ass eating out here.
And well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of pegging, and these kids see everything on the internet, man. So you don't know what she was teaching him. That's what I'm saying. It's like, it's like, course. So yeah, that's the unfortunate part about it. And he may never even be able to come to terms with it. Like, he might have to deal with it later on in life. Like, I can't believe I let her do that to me. But I was young and I didn't know no better. While his friends thinking it's all good, he might be like, y'all don't realize what she was doing to me. So
yeah, but then you think about it though, Kat. Was it a teacher? My teachers looked like the lunch ladies when I went to Pulaski, so I don't think I was people with.
The teachers got a lot finer over the years, huh?
Yeah, didn't they? Yeah, they did. They actually the ones that we went to school with.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But yeah, it's sad. It's a sad thing
hey,
that
you know what?
That she took advantage of this kid.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Because she did. She got
and
what she
him
wanted
a gun.
out the deal.
And bought him a gun on top of it.
That was the scary part.
Right.
That was the scary part. In her name.
Right.
She didn't go buy a gun on 28th and Burleigh. She went to the gun store.
Right. This boy got an instruction manual with his gun.
Yeah.
What'd you say,
and
Kumar?
some extra bullets.
Y'all think it could be kind of like let's be real about this, right? Like, a lot of people, it might not hit a lot of people right what I'm finna say, but like, y'all think this may be like a male chauvinist mindset that we hold on to when we feel like it's cool when it's this way around? You know what I'm saying? There's some shit that we done learned, you know what I mean, from white people. Like, when white men, when they was holding white women down, it's man this first, all this, and man that, and it's so it's cool if men can. It's like kind of like really a chauvinist mindset that we really holding on to.
Absolutely. Listen, there's no doubt. There's no doubt in my mind that it's absolutely kind of like this masculine kind of chest out, peacocking how we do. Like, I mean, a lot of the attitudes that we have in particular as young men towards sex and sexuality are based on chauvinistic perspectives. Like, because when you're young, you typically like, man, I'm just out here trying to hit
Right.
something. I ain't really trying to, you ain't even respecting the nature
Right.
of a relationship. I mean, most of us,
And
if
to
we're
your
if
to
we're
your understanding, that's what a being a man is.
that's
Hey, and
right.
to
I'm
our
just out here
understanding,
doing
that's
my
what being a
thing.
man is.
And so you say, as a young man, you think about how you actually lived, and you say, how many of us have had a female who maybe you even talked it up that, well, no, we're gonna be in a relationship. I just want you to let me do it. And then once you do it, it's like, please, are you out your mind? Like, I'm in the wind. And we did that on purpose. So our attitudes about
Mm.
sex as young men are often,
Yeah.
that's why you got to grow up,
Yeah.
though. That's why you have to mature, because you
Right.
start off really immature about it. Like, take for instance, most of the time when you're young and you have some kind of sexual encounter, what's the first thing you do? You go tell your homies.
Tell somebody.
Right. Now, when you're a grown man and you are fortunate enough, who do you go tell? Not a
You don't
goddamn
want nobody.
soul. You don't tell
You don't want
nobody.
nobody to know.
Right. You keep keeping this. This is my business. So, but you have to
Yeah.
mature into that, right?
Right.
Like, so from the start, men are just kind of really rudimentary about our perspective on it. Like, you thinking playing hide and go get it back in the days, and a man was just happy to dry hump something. You a guy, a little dude, you be like, ooh, I humped on her. It's like, dude, your mind is in the wrong place in terms of sex and sexuality. So yeah, Kamar, I agree with you. It is kind of like a troublesome mindset that as men, most of us truly feel.
I
And
think.
I ain't talking about what you say. I'm talking about how you really feel. A lot of men,
Right.
when they see these
I think
headlines,
we
said,
got to take these honest looks. This is, we got
yeah,
to take these honest looks at ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
yeah,
And
but one thing I could say, I couldn't tell my Uncle Sam that I was out here sleeping with the teacher, and I'm finna tell everybody. He probably would have told me up. He'd have told, boy, don't you know how good you got it?
unfortunately, like I have several
Yeah,
uncles who probably would have said, well, you better shut your ass
right.
up, but let me tell you what you
yeah.
need to do next. This is what you
My
need to
uncle
do.
name was Penitentiary Sam. He would have knew.
Penitentiary
He,
Sam.
that's his name. His name. God rest his soul. They called him Penitentiary Sam because he always went to the penitentiary and he always came back home.
Wow.
But like I said, he would have ate me up if I'd have told. He said, "Man, why is he telling these people that? That's a secret for you."
Right. Yeah, my
Right.
uncles are, from, I ain't gonna say, but they would just, boy, let me tell you, this is what you got to do now. I got some uncles who'd have sat me right down like, this is what you need to do. And
Hey,
you'd have had a tutorial.
especially if they'd saw, especially if he'd have saw my car better than his.
He ain't got no license, got a Benz.
Yeah.
Vince said, we'd like to make an example of this store. If people will get involved, it can be a movement. Alderman Borowski said that a store like the Hotspot would not last. He says we become our master in his ways. Yeah, it's almost impossible for you not to kind of absorb some of this American shit, because it's been, and like to this day, most black people's standard of quality is centered around something white. So we've been trying to emulate them for a long time. As a matter of fact, if you say to the average black person, what's your definition of the good life? The version that they will give you will be what they've saw on television or read about in books, which came from white people.
The good life is coming home and you got food in the refrigerator and your lights on.
Yeah, but the white man's is living in a suburban place with big yard, a dog, and they salute the flag, and we won't have any crime in our neighborhood, and the kids go to school and they learn, and I'm an upstanding patriot. And so black people say, I want to try to be like that. So I'm gonna give me a Volvo. I'm gonna move to Whitefish. I want to live in Whitefish Bay with y'all. Like we have yet to define our own standards of quality standards. We don't really define them. We try, but ultimately we really follow what the white man says do. That's why we watch TV. That's why we look at the internet. That's why we read the newspaper. Let me see what the white man telling me what to do today. And that's just where black
Because
people are.
we was bamboozled from day one.
And we damn
But
sure bamboozle right now.
Yeah.
We're damn sure. Listen, y'all, we gonna wrap this up. I did want to say that there's a settlement that was rejected by a judge for the Kia settlement. And they're saying it's not enough. It's saying that Kia wants to basically pay for repairs to these cars for people who had cars stolen and this kind of thing. But the court is ruling that they didn't do enough to protect their consumers because they haven't their security standards for the cars haven't improved. Like they were saying, they haven't taken it necessarily. Damn, my phone dropped. Earl, shit, hit us back, Earl. He said the lawsuit says they don't even have like a push button start system like everybody else, right? They have a simple pop it with the screwdriver and use the USB thing to start the car. So it's hundreds of millions of dollars at stake. So if you have a Kia, or if your key has been stolen, you need to get in as a class action lawsuit. I don't know who you would have to contact, but I'm sure if you Googled it, you'll find your way in. And I just, I would hope that Kia, because we had this problem in the 80s with GM. It was so easy to steal GM cars because all you had to do was pop the steering columns. Sooner or later, they started to take measurements so that you couldn't steal them like that anymore. And we know that was an extension of cats in the 70s who knew how to hotwire. Who knows how to hotwire a car now? I don't know. Nobody say, don't worry about it, Kev. I'll hotwire it. You see it on TV. I don't know nobody who knows how to do that shit, right? I don't know.
That's some OG, boy.
Right. He's a real criminal, right? If you know how to hotwire a car.
It had to be
like,
some
man,
OG.
what time
Been
are
a
you
criminal
from?
for a long time.
Man, stealing since stealing was stealing. Man, incredible week, man. It was glad to get back with y'all. I try to keep the show. And I apologize. Sometimes my phone drops calls. The signal gets weak down here. So Earl, shout out to Earl Henning, who's a supporter of the show, always rocking with us. Sure enough, appreciate him. And that's, I believe he's kin to Big Larry and Trail and Fat Man from 4100. So I believe that's that. I think that's the same Henning family because all you see, he puts up pictures of Big Larry. Rest in peace to the Hennings, Montreal, Fat Man, and Big Larry, who I rocked with, J&J's, Faux Life, baby, Atkinson, 19. So yeah, man. Kamar, what you got coming up this week? Anything crucial or just business as usual?
Business as usual. I'll be at the House of Vitality the rest of the week. All the way out to Saturday. Y'all catch me there 11 to 7. 11 to 7 all day, 11 to 7.
Okay. Real, what you got popping? And by the way, thank you for the wine. Once again, it was delicious. I surely had a great time with it. I appreciate it. And you done gave me a bunch of products over the last week, and I've enjoyed them all tremendously.
I'm glad you enjoy, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
But for me, shit, nothing. Just still promoting my book, 12 Steps to Becoming Your Own Dope. Still got my gratitude journal. I actually got both on deck. Still working on getting my TikTok following to get as large as my Facebook following. But otherwise, yeah, that's it, man. And I think this weekend I might bottle up that pomegranate mead I got going.
Okay.
I bottled up the cherry mead and I just been kind of sipping on it to make sure that CBD don't hit you with that alcohol. So far so good. I'm still here.
That's what's up. I'm gonna sit up and drink mead like a Viking. That's some old school. That's what you call getting drunk. Earl says, he said, what about the peoples whose cars they ran into? Yeah, I don't know. The article, there's an article in the People's News Network, Earl, in which you can get all the details about the lawsuit. I just know it was rejected by a judge because he's saying it's not definitive enough. He said Larry was his big brother. Wow. Rest in peace to Big Larry, man. Big Larry. I went to elementary school with Trail, and a Fat Man raised me. Like, so I know that very near and dear. Montreal Henning was my first best friend. I put it like that. Like that was my partner, man, from about second grade till we got to about seventh, and we split and went to different middle schools. But he was a staple of the neighborhood, over there on Atkinson and on 19th and Atkinson, and in the hood on 14th and 4100. Legend, neighborhood legend, man. Fat Man as well, Larry as well. I remember him bringing Mr. Big Stuff down the street, his race car back in the days when I was little. Larry's the only man who I knew who had his own race car. He used to take it drag racing. Mr. Big Stuff, a gremlin turned into a AMC gremlin turned into a drag racer. It was crazy. That's the hood back in the days, man. So rest in peace. Vince, he said he got some shine for me. I'll let your boy Vince. You know, I like to sip slow, right? Chopped and screwed. I've been seeing this focus on a lot of different things. Hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, hip hop. 50th anniversary of hip hop. Thank God. There's been just, and now Milwaukee said they're going to bring Hip Hop Week back. There's some criticism of the timing of it. People are saying, we don't need that right now or whatever, what have you. But I think hip hop deserves its acknowledgement. So I'm cool with that. I don't mind. I do think, as I know Vince said, well, how does Rainey have time on his hands to come up with Hip Hop Week when look at his district? Right. But that's not hip hop's fault. So but I do want to say there's all kinds of talk about the industry moving away from signing rappers. There's all kinds of discussions about because it's all the same, because it's redundant. Well, they've made it that way. I think hip hop in itself is still very diverse, but you got to dig for it. I hear a lot of neo soul sounding songs right now. I tell y'all all the time, if you haven't heard Scientists and Engineers by Killer Mike and you say you love hip hop, I'll say you a motherfucking lie. Because that should easily be the song of the summer with 3,000 Future and Killer Mike. It's one of the most beautiful songs I've heard in a long time. And I said, that's hip hop right there. And so it still exists. But the companies, the labels have put this drill rap up top and they've made it just like with the ladies with ratchet rap, right? We're criticizing Sexy Red and Sukiana and all these ladies. And we're saying, oh, Shell, you shouldn't be saying that. You shouldn't be doing this. But they're getting paid off of it. So we can fault her for saying eating ass and eating nigga ass and all that. We should be on the record label that's promoting the record and saying, no, this is cool. Because you're just opening up the floodgates if that makes money for more and more ratchetness and ignorance to come out. But also let me say this. Ratchetness has its place in this world, whether you want to accept it or not. There are a lot of men who like women who behave and speak and approach sex like that. But it's for grown-ups. And the problem with this is that these messages are being leaked to our children wholesale without explaining all the possible negative consequences that could come with your behavior. You grown. You in it. But when you're a child, you have no defense. There's nobody to protect you. There's no safety net. And so this kind of ratchet rap mentality and that kind of belief from men, like that's what I want her to say, is kind of like what leads up to a 30-some-year-old and a 13-year-old. And there's no boundaries and there's a sickness in our society. And we know that we live in an over-sexualized society. Everything about sex. I don't care what every advertisement is going to try to hit you with something sexual, right? So a lot of times what we have to do, and this was one of those kinds of answers to the question that I asked in the beginning of the show, what do we do to curb the violence? What do we do about the community? What do we do about the sickness in the way we think in the community? I think it's absolutely positively true that we attack the information that we ingest on a daily basis. If those negative messages are just bombarding our kids without anything to balance it out, if they can hear this bullshit on the record and then look at the community and the same behavior is being executed, then they start to feel like this is reality. Well, that's a warped mind state. This is an artificial reality because it should not exist that way. It's only because of this, because of that. And that's only this because of that is only this because of that. I know that doesn't make sense, but it's a matrix, if you will. So you hear it on the record, you go out into the community, you perpetuate the behavior, it happens. People look at it and say that's just the way the world is. No, that's what dysfunction is. And a lot of the things that go on in our community surrounding these gas stations is dysfunctional. And a lot of the perpetrators of this behavior are Black people. So instead of us always passing the buck and blaming everybody else, I'm just one of those people who say, we need to look at ourselves because that's the only way we getting out of this shit. We can close every gas station down in the city. We can close every negative corner store down. If we don't do something to heal our people, no matter what you build, there's going to be the same thing. Is there not a coincidence that a McDonald's in the hood is ratchet? A Wendy's in the hood is ratchet. A barbershop in the hood is ratchet. A gas station is ratchet. It's not necessarily the business, it's the community. Because if it was a uplifted, enlightened community, they wouldn't even patronize the business. Therefore, we wouldn't be having this conversation. I'm always with people who have different perspectives. I'm always down with hearing it from a different point of view. So if you heard the show tonight, you heard something you agree with, you heard something you didn't agree with, hit us up next week or Wednesday. Hit us up Wednesday because we'll be back Wednesday this week. I'm making sure we do both shows. And get with Outlaw Radio, man. Tell a friend, man. Because the one thing about it is, if your criticism of the community outweighs your contribution, your ass is a motherfucking coon. I'll see y'all Wednesday night.